Holy inflation, fake nerds! It's time for another holiday session. The holiday annual of the fake nerds is here once again, and this time we're virtual, just like the pandemic days. And we're back. It's me, Sparks Witty. I'm of course joined by the festive Ryan Eliopoulos.
Hee hee ho ho.
The joyous Ben Magnet.
I had something, but I forgot. I don't know what I was going to say.
We're also on audio podcast.
Ben talk. Ben just
yeah, we're on audio podcast. And then here I was like, my mind just decided to go, hey, no funny business today, Ben. You suck today.
Blank as a sheet of snow. And the cheery Brandon T. McClure.
Hello, and don't call me Cherry.
It's too late.
I'll call you Shirley.
This is our second time doing this virtually. Only the second time.
Virtual insanity.
There it is. Due to schedules and life, sometimes it be that.
But we're here through the miracles of technology.
Yeah, this is a different one this year. Sparks, I hope you don't mind me jumping in real quickly just to say that we're not doing a gift exchange this year. So for people who are been watching our holiday annuals religiously, who are you? Please comment below. I would love to know who you are. We normally do a gift exchange, but this year it just wasn't feasibly possible. So hopefully next year we'll be able to get one going. But this year is a smaller holiday annual,
bite-sized.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Never say it's bite-sized until it's over.
We got to talk about it, I'm sure.
True. But also it's the one. Yeah, as Brandon was saying, life happens. Yeah. Things come up. Expenses be expenses, and there are times where you think you have like a, oh my goodness gracious me, why can I not talk today? There are times where you're like, hey, things. Goddamn, Brian. There are the times where it's like, hey, I should be able to do a thing, and then a few expenses pop up. It's like, never mind, I won't be able to do the thing, and that's happened a lot this year. So,
inflation is real.
Yep.
Yeah, inflation is real. I went to go get some.
Actually, inflation is fake. Down with capitalism.
I mean, that's true. But unfortunately, we need capitalism to buy things. So.
I'll amend my statement, Brandon. You right. Thanks for checking me. The effects of inflation are real.
We impose it on ourselves. We have to abide by her laws.
But we're here to be festive. We're here to talk about some holiday stuff like we usually do, and some podcast stuff like we usually do. We start not with a gift exchange this year, but still about Christmas gifts. Friends, this is the section where we talk about what Christmas gift would you give to a nerd this year. This can be something that is merchandise that exists or merchandise that you wish existed from something that has come out. I'll kick things off.
Kick it.
There's a Super 7 has this exceptionally good looking, and I'm quite impressed with it, figure for the new Godzilla from Godzilla -1.
Yep.
They do.
That is the gift, my friends. That is the gift.
Yeah, man. That oh my god. Yeah. That thing is incredible. Super 7 is, I think, fairly new to the Godzilla license. I believe they picked it up after NECA lost it. But they oh boy, that they knocked that one out of the park.
Yeah, their products can be hit or miss, to be honest. There's a fair bit of hit and a fair bit of miss, but that one in particular, I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, even if like you got it and it's like, oh, it's not as articulated as I wanted or as was advertised, I'd be like, I don't know if it still looks as good as it looks in the pictures. I'm cool.
That's the thing. Sometimes, like a Hot Toys, like you give up maneuverability for, damn, that looks sick.
Yeah,
and that's totally okay. Hi, Emma.
Emma is attacking Santa Claus.
Sorry, she hates that white man.
I saw her walking up there, and I want it.
That's true. That was my mistake.
That Godzilla figures, Sparks, because we're talking about just like figures, Godzilla things and toys and whatnot. Do you remember you and I both had the same Godzilla toy as when we were kids? It was the little one. It was about this big with a little red button in the center of it that made the skreonk.
Yes.
I loved that thing.
Yeah.
So dearly. I don't know where that one ended up.
Very, very few of my Godzilla toys from when I was young have survived.
Yeah.
Due to both moving and durability. But the ones that do, they're the real ones.
They're in my atomic
heart. I'll go next. Although now I kind of want to amend my statement to be, you guys remember the Evangelion Mechagodzilla?
Yeah.
That shit's great. That shit's really cool. They came out with the Asuka variant.
Yeah, honestly, baby. I almost put that on my list, but it didn't come out this year. It came out last year, and I'm like, but there is a new.
That's okay. It doesn't have to.
No, I know, but I'm trying to keep it in the year.
Sure.
There is a new one that came out this year that is. It's not a articulated one. It's just a design, but it's like it is a half Evangelion, half Godzilla, and he's like it's like battle damage, so he's like blah, and it looks really cool. Yeah. And I'm like, ooh, you're also really expensive.
Oh, you know what? I should have put. I need to amend this now. Hold on, I need to write something down because like. This happened. This specific commercial happened this year. This promo didn't happen this year, but this commercial happened this year.
Yeah.
I want to say one specific thing, but I have to amend it and say it's this. It is nothing else. It is this. It is the transforming Megazord Shin Japan Heroes figure that has Eva, Ultraman, Godzilla and Kamen Rider all morph into a Megazord like thing. Guys, you remember that fucking commercial? Or 6 minutes in and I've already done it. You remember that damn commercial? The production value on that commercial, they built that suit, that figure. I shit you not, I almost bought that figure. I almost bankrupted my whole house trying to get that figure. I wish I could have. It's incredible.
Yeah, there are not a lot of like things that I would spend that much money on, but like that is truly like that's like the coolest thing I've seen in my entire life. Yeah. Like if I got that as a kid, I'd be like, yo, you can ground me for a year. Like I would not leave the house if you can give me that. Like that is an exceptional piece of craftsmanship.
Yeah.
I just think about. Sorry, go ahead, Ben.
No, one thing I have to amend about that is that there's also other Megazord-like toys I've seen on social media that come out of Japan. It's like Japan just loves the Megazord stuff, and obviously because Shin Megami Tensei, Power Rangers originated in Japan.
Super Sentai.
Yeah, Super Sentai. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. And there's like this one Megazord style toy that I saw, but it was Disney characters like Mickey, Minnie, Pluto, Goofy. Like you transform like these robots that are, and they transform into like the super robot. It's like that's too cool. And I'm like, why did we get that?
A few years ago, I was in Shanghai. God, time.
Yeah.
Back before my wife and I were dating, I was in Shanghai, and when I was there, I saw for the first time in my life 2 different Toy Story Megazords. So there was one that was like Woody centric and one that was Buzz centric, and they had different like other select characters who combined with them that made sense. Like Woody got Slinky Dog and Buzz got Rex. And
there was a snake in my neck.
That shit was cool. Megazords are cool.
It's true.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah, but like the cosmic alignment that had to happen for this Megazord to exist has never been seen in before. And
well, thank Hideki Anno, because he's like, I touched that property, I touched that property, I touched that property, I touched that property.
And the fact that they're all owned by different companies, and the fact that they're all like, yes, we approve this, Hideki Anno. We will allow you to do this. Is insane.
I think Japan on a whole, not every part of Japan because Nintendo's there too, but Japan as a whole is far more open to. Sure, I would like to combine some IPs here and make something weird and kooky and cool.
That's how we got Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. It's right there. Nintendo, absolutely. They are not down for that. But like everybody else in Japan seems to be.
I mean, they got Navigalian Train. They're all about, like, crossovers are fun.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a shit Quattro Razor Blade that's Asuka colored, which is a real thing.
But you know what? I'm gonna say that's my thing. I'm not going to say the one that I actually wrote down and say that's the one.
All right.
So
you can have more than one. So like,
I was just gonna be the Hammond Collection Jurassic Park figures, which I think are really great. But like that, as soon as I remember that Shin Japan thing, I was like, it's that one.
Mine, well, I'll go next because mine has Godzilla related to it. And it's something I doubt I'm going to get back into, but it was the card game that I was the most into and collecting and playing, and it's Magic the Gathering. And the amount of collaborations they've done in the past couple of years is truly mind-boggling, as Brendan has on his wall, if you could see. I'm going to name the ones that I found online, and these aren't even all of them. It's just the ones that, like, what collabs are coming out? What are the old ones? So Magic the Gathering, trading card game, like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, but a little not mature, just a little more dark fantasy. But they have collaborations with Godzilla, Fortnite, The Walking Dead, Arcane, Marvel, Stranger Things, Doctor Who, Warhammer 40,000, Street Fighter, Transformers, Lord of the Rings, and Fallout. Some of those are old,
Jurassic Park,
and some of them are old, some of those are new. And I just think that's mind-boggling because it's not just like a cheap cash grab. Like all the cards look good. And it's like the abilities work like within the new rule set. And I'm like, you are trying so hard to make me spend money I don't have, you guys.
I will say, like, as someone who has bought the entire Doctor Who Magic stuff to have my own little basically Doctor Who card game, that and the Lord of the Rings ones are sucking me in more to be interested than a lot of the, like, here's 8 cards you can trade out for 8 other cards that are styled in Jurassic Park or Godzilla.
They're full ass decks.
Like, I like the cards. The art is cool, and I like having the cards. Like, I do have some of the Godzilla ones, but they're not necessarily ones where I'm like, yeah, I'll bring it into thematically. Like, I wouldn't bring it into play. But like Lord of the Rings and Doctor Who, that is like, it's basically a separate game using Magic.
Yeah. I'm really, because I'm a big Warhammer guy, so like seeing some of those Warhammer cards, I'm like, man, this art is just so sick.
Yeah.
I would kill to have some of these. I'm just going to then quickly name the other one that I got because this is quickie. It's the Steam Deck OLED. The Steam Deck came and I don't think it surprised anyone, but it's the Steam Deck original one is a great little piece of technology. It is the Switch for every other video game because, it's not Nintendo. But you can basically run almost every game on the Steam Deck, not at, the highest quality possible, but at a reasonable quality. And now with the Steam Deck OLED, which came out this year, it's got a beautiful brand new screen. It is big and shiny. I think if you're a nerd and you want to be mobile on the go, the Steam Deck is like the best way because you can also like import other applications like Xbox Game Pass and stuff. So you have thousands of games through Steam and Xbox to play mobily, and they all work. It just works.
I hope one day to have one.
I want to mention. Go ahead, Bud.
No, when Ryan was talking about the Magic the Gathering cards, there's another collaboration that they did this year, which just shocked everyone, and also it was just one of the funniest things because of the rules they had on the cards. It was the My Little Pony set, because I think there was like the famous one was Applejack, where it was either Applejack or Cutie Pie, where you put them on the field, and then any card that has a smile in its artwork you could summon it for like no mana cost or something. It was absolutely insane. And of course, like the Magic community was like looking through all the cards that had smiles in the artwork, and they were these horrific eldritch monsters. It's like, they're smiling. You can play that. And it's like, oh god, Applejack's in like a black green deck, and it's gonna bring out all these monstrosities in the field. What the hell?
Well, if you want to use a white-blue deck, Princess Twilight Sparkle is currently on eBay for $158. So those cards seem to be worth some money.
I wanted to mention something about the Jurassic deck. The Jurassic Park deck is not something that I like. I love Jurassic Park, but even the Jurassic Park deck isn't something that I've kind of wanted to go out of my way to get, except the Sexy Malcolm card, which is a real card they made, and I'm like, I need that.
So for those unfamiliar, there's like 6 or 7 cards that are dinosaurs. And then there are 6 or 7 cards that are Ian Malcolm.
Yeah, pretty much. And the dinosaur artwork is really good. Like, don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah. It reminds me a lot of the like right when Jurassic Park came out, like a lot of the like comic kind of art. Not necessarily for the comics that were Jurassic Park comics that use that kind of art, but
it's kind of it's hard to see. It's not gonna be blurry.
But that's the scene, the T-Rex scene, right? Jurassic Park
with the flare. Yeah, these look good. I don't need to buy an Owen Grady card, I'll tell you that, but those look real good.
Yeah, it's the sexy Malcolm one. Look, he's not the sexy Malcolm card, it's the injured Malcolm. I get it, isn't it? You can't officially call him sexy Malcolm. But like we all know what it is. We all know.
Sexy Malcolm hearts.
Sexy Malcolm in our hearts. But that's the one that I really want. Obviously, I've got the Jurassic Park, the Jurassic Park, the Godzilla ones behind me. I love those. The Doctor Who ones are so expansive. There's a lot of those. Like I see those at Barnes and Noble all the time. There's so many cards in that set. The Lord of the Rings ones were the ones that I was like, oh shit, man, this artwork is incredible. Like I kind of want to go for all these.
Lord of the Rings is, I have a little bit of it. I really want to get more of it. That one was really expansive, which is not surprising. Doctor Who was easy because it was basically get these 4 things. Cool. You have the Doctor Who Magic game.
The command,
was like,
the command decks.
Fantastic. That's what I want.
Yeah. Ben, you got a gift?
Yeah, I do. I have a few actually. I feel like every year I always think of like 3 or 4 more gifts to give to nerds while we were talking about this. But the first thing I want to talk.
This doesn't surprise me because literally, like yesterday, while I was out running errands with Megan, we were just like grabbing stuff, and we were talking about some gifts for some people, and like you've already been taken care of at this point. And every now and then it's like, oh, that's really cool. It'd be great for Ben. And we were like, ultimately we did that like 3 or 4 times, and we're like, that's just the easiest person to shop for.
No joke. I had a similar thing. I was going through Instagram and I got an ad for something because there's something that I've been doing a lot this year that Instagram just knows. And so they're like, you like this, right? And I'm like, I do like this. Thank you. And I saw it and I was like, oh shit, that'd be really good for Ben. But I already got your gift. So like I didn't do it. But like that was like I had this very similar moment.
And the funny thing is for Brandon for me is pretty easy to shop for, and same with Ryan. I know what to get these guys. I know what you guys like, and there are times because I also have like very small Christmas presents for you this year, but because it was something I saw, I thought of you guys. I'm like, they would love it, they would appreciate it, so I got for them. But for the longest time, Sparks is the hardest person for me to shop for because that fool almost has everything, and I constantly have to check with his wife to make sure that he doesn't have the thing I'm about to get him.
Yo, bro, the amount of Amazon packages we get weekly, it's more. When I first moved in with this guy, he got more packages in a week than I got in a year.
Yeah,
and that's the dream. That is the dream. Like every day is Christmas in this house.
I'll tell you what. I had a very similar moment. I'm gonna say something interesting here about Sparks. I've known Sparks for God, how long have I known you at this point?
Over half your life.
Over half my life, Jesus Christ. And so like I agree. There was a moment where I would often get him like pop figures. I'd get him like little things that I would look at his Amazon wish list. I would get him things. It was very difficult to shop for until I realized, you know what? I don't want to get him knickknacks that he could buy himself. I want to get him things that are meaningful, that are things that he's going to, not things that he's going to get for himself, not because he doesn't think about it, but because it's something that I want to. So when I kind of like realized that, he became a much easier person to shop for.
I bought him Dragon Ball Z gummies for his birthday.
They're great.
That's pretty good.
They're delicious. Yeah. Have you had one?
No.
Oh, you should have.
Are they the 4-star balls?
Yeah.
I've almost bought those. Are those good?
They're pretty good.
Yeah,
I really like them. They've got a good like size and like consistency and texture. I really like them.
I might next time I go to It's Sugar on City Walk, I'm gonna pick up a pack.
I've definitely like had like where they're like the
brand.
What's the term? Like the cheap brand. Like we're just trying to get. We're more selling you on the packaging than the
to be honest.
itself.
When I got them, that's what I thought they were going to be. So to hear that they're actually good, it's like that's even better.
Yeah. To get the like the cheap like here you go, and like this is better than most of the stuff that I've had that's in that kind of vein. Yeah, I think wonderful. I've had wonderful emotional gifts from all of you. So,
I do want to say Ben is very easy to shop for, as Sparks has said. Which is why our gift exchange has always been to get Ben a gag gift. A little sad that Ben isn't getting a gag gift, or is he? Fanny now.
She's not here. She's at work.
Can you imagine?
I would be more surprised if you contacted my roommate and said,
"Guy,
now."
the gag gift this year, because we're not doing a gift exchange, would just be like an overload of sincere gifts. Like there's no joke to it. He just gets way more stuff than he's comfortable receiving. And that's the joke.
You get a new package every hour on the hour.
I'm gonna check outside. But anyways, but there are 3 presents for nerds this year, and shockingly, not all of them are video game themed. 2 of them are. I know, shocking, right? But I feel like every single year, ever since we started doing this, I talk about Legos. Like there was the Lego Optimus Prime that came out a few years ago, obviously the Mario sets and everything. And this year, Lego did it again, not just with like their big expansive sets, because I don't know, I want to say the Atari set came out last year, or maybe it came out earlier this year, I just don't remember. But then the Pac-Man arcade machine came out, and now Lego has an official collaboration with Sega to create Sonic the Hedgehog sets. And I have to say, Lego, I've always loved Lego. You guys always known that. Lego is one of those toys that is timeless, that's great, and Lego is for everyone. And just the more sets that come out that are themed to like, or not themed, but that are like the more advanced, the harder sets, like the Pac-Man set or some of the Sonic sets, or even the Mario set, like the one Mario set I really want is the question block. The more I see these, is like, damn it, Lego, I'm limited, but this is so cool.
Howdy, Ben, do I have something for you? Not only is it Lego, but it's free. It's called Lego Fortnite.
Yeah.
So in that vein, because this is what I was going to say, is like one of my gifts was going to be that it doesn't exist yet. Fortnite has some merchandise out there. Fortnite skins look really great in Lego.
Yeah,
a lot of them. A lot of their original skins look frankly better in Lego. And if we start getting Lego Fortnite products,
the world's over, dude.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
They already print money.
Yeah,
they've created a mini llama that people have gotten, like, the promos for like, hey, play Lego Fortnite. Here's your favorite TikToker talking about Lego Fortnite, and here's a box. Send us a box, guys. They've been given like these little mini
minifigures,
mini llamas, and I for whatever reason really want to build a llama.
It's got its itching you. It's got the scratch. Oh, is that Fortnite time?
But yeah, Lego. But even not just with the video game stuff, with a lot of other sets that Lego has come out, like the Green God set. I know in the past we've talked about the Jurassic Park sets that they've come out.
I'll tell you one set that came out this year that I really want. So Disney's 100th anniversary has come and fallen flat on its face. But the Lego set that they released that I really desperately want. By the way, you mentioned the Jurassic Park set. I remember the gate, the giant ass gate with the T-Rex. Jesus Christ, I wanted that so bad. But the Disney 100 set that I really want is the film camera that you can build up, and you can actually put Walt Disney like drawing Bambi in the camera. And like it's got like the film reel of all of like Lego versions of like all those movies. I thought that was incredible.
No, I want that set too. That set, I feel, is a great encapsulation of 100 years of Disney, and it focuses on what Disney was. They're a film studio. Let's look at their classic films, and having the film reel be scenes from their different movies Lego-fied, I think is genius.
To be fair, like Disney 100 years ago is just an animation studio, not necessarily a film studio.
Right.
But I think it truly is a testament to Lego. Lego can make things that I would not buy if they were non-Lego exceptionally. Like they'll just like put more thought into it and more creativity and be Lego, and I'll be like, damn, I'd buy that.
Yeah. There's a Lego typewriter that I've legitimately been like, oh shit, I'd never buy a real typewriter, but a Lego typewriter? Fuck.
It has to have the that's the mark of a good typewriter.
Yeah.
The coolest thing about the Lego Pac-Man arcade thing is that there's a crank on the side and it moves. Like Pac-Man moves.
But inside is a minifigure playing Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Same with it's so cool.
Not only that, the Atari set, like the Atari 2600 set, it's not just like the NES that has the TV and the NES. I know I've talked about it forever, but you can move and it has Mario in it. But with the Atari one, you flip it over, there's like a diorama of a late 70s house of a kid playing the Atari. And
cool.
the Atari cartridges you can actually, when you build the cartridges for that come with the Atari game, it's just Asteroid, Centipede, and I think Adventure. I can't remember the third one. But those cartridges also turn into dioramas of the game. Like it's art. Yeah, it's really cool. It's like Lego, damn. But yeah, so man. Obviously Lego can't go wrong with it. Just keep coming out with amazing new stuff this year, or almost every year.
Did you see I'm so sorry to interrupt you again, but did you see the Disney villain set, which had like the books, and then it came with like a Genie Jafar mini like an Ursula and I think Gaston, and so it's like it's set up like books on a bookshelf, one's like tipped over, and they're like have like scenes from their films. It was really cool. I almost got it for the mini Genie Jafar minifigure.
In January, they released it before, but they're releasing an updated version of the X-Men's Blackbird. And it's also like double the price of what it usually is. So people are like, this thing is almost $100 and it's small, but it's X-Men. So like people are going to buy that shit. Like, come on, what are you going to do? It looks real sick.
What's new about?
There's a Rogue minifigure.
I'm so sorry, you already have.
What?
Don't you? Is that not?
Oh no, that's a Transformer.
Oh, the Transformer one. Right, You're talking Lego.
No, yeah.
I'm mixing it up. Never mind. My bad.
No, you're good.
What was the Lego set that they just? What was the? Gone.
Ben, your other gifts.
Yeah, so the one that's not video game themed at all, but it is Disney themed, and it came out this year. Unfortunately, the biggest caveat is that it's stupid hard to get. But from what I've been hearing, it's a fun trading card game to get into, and also, it's Disney. It's Disney's Lorcana. It's the new TCG that came out. My fiance, she played it earlier this year with a friend of ours. They brought they got a hold on some starter decks, and she really liked it. It's really fun, and also the art on those cards is just gorgeous. It is fantastic. It's fantastic art, and also what the artists were able to do, because it's not just straight, we're going to keep it like they look in the films or like they look in media. It's like, no, their cards were, let's change it up a little bit. There's like a really cool card of Hades where he's king of Olympus. It's like, yeah, in this card, Hades won. He is about to wreck people's shit. And there's another card with Captain Hook, where his hook is in a hook hand. It's his sword. He has a sword on his hook hand. And of course, there's Tinkerbell, where Tinkerbell turns giant. She's like looking down at the Jolly Roger, like, "You what, mate?"
Ooh, that opens up some weird thoughts.
Oh, hey!
You guys remember? You remember the movie? I get this movie confused with Dude, Where's My Car? Because it can't be Dude, Where's My Car? But it's about this. I'm just going to look up this movie before describing it, because it's going to sound really bad if I just decide to describe it.
I can't confirm or deny that maybe this household has Lorcana, but maybe we play it sometime in the future. Then who knows?
The other Lego set I wanted to actually highlight, definitely not that movie, is the Avengers Tower. I've gotten a lot of flack, I think, on Twitter this year, because it comes with like a weird selection of Marvel characters, to be fair. Like Marvel characters who were never in Avengers Tower, and a Kevin Feige minifigure. But I think it's funny as hell, and like I love the build of it. Is incredible. It's modular, so like it could come off, and like you take pieces off without actually destroying it. It comes with a Quinjet. It looked awesome. I really wanted it.
The Daily Bugle one is also really sick.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
Like that one is like, those got all the figures you need, baby. That's a guy like Sinister Six and Spidey, like Jonah. Love it.
The Venerator, the Star Wars.
I want the Venerator so bad.
We got a couple of big bad boys where I work, and like they're $500. I didn't know those were $500. Yeah, but man, there's like 1,000 pieces. Like, yeah, it's gonna take you forever. It's amazing.
No,
yeah, man, I wanted that Venerator. The Venerator is my favorite Star Wars ship. So like when they came out with the figure for that, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
The biggest challenge with all of these is always just like, yeah, they're wonderful, they're great.
Where are you gonna put them?
Where are you gonna put them?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
And like realistically, like all of us could find a place for probably one. And then you have to pick one. How do you pick one?
Yeah. It's event generator.
That's the problem.
Oddly enough, I have picked one because I just need to clean this off, and it's like this. I could put one set here, and I'm going to put the other one there, and that's it.
The
space I have for it.
The real problem with Lego, by the way, it was Dude, Where's My Car? There's a scene in Dude, Where's My Car where there's a giant woman, and she walks over people.
Oh yeah, and like up the skirt. Yeah.
Yeah, I misremember. I thought I misremembered that wild movie, but it turns out I just remembered it. But the real problem with Lego, especially like these kind of like prestige sets that we're talking about, the Venerator, the Marvel the Avengers Tower, the Disney 100, is that they have a short shelf life. So like for people who can't just drop that kind of money now, it becomes very difficult to save up for, because by the time you save up for them, they're now on the secondary market, and when their prices are even more expensive. And so like that's a real struggle.
We've named all the sets everyone would want. I'll tell you the one that my wife and I probably got the closest to getting because of how unique it was. And again, like just went, but where?
Yeah.
Where would we put it? Why would we have it? And it's I'm forgetting the name of the place. It's where the elves live in Lord of the Rings.
Rivendell?
Oh, Rivendell.
That one is
Rivendell
bananas.
The Rivendell
really
set.
good.
Because like
set.
everything else we've named, it's like you could get approximations and that kind of
That's
thing.
a
And some
city.
other, like Rivendell is like, how else do you have Rivendell in your home?
You put that next to your entire train conductor set that in your basement. You
Well,
know,
that was
with
the thing.
whole- yeah.
This is the thing that almost tempted her to it, because she's like, that would look really nice with a bunch of books around it. And I'm like, it's true. It's true. That's why we were close. We were close on that one.
God, Lego. I love Lego. There's always the joke of like, when did Lego get so expensive? And the thing is, it always was. Our parents just had more money.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Do that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Ben still has one more.
Yeah, one more, and I'll be quick about it. We mentioned the Steam Deck earlier, and this one is a small. It's another emulation device. It's one that you guys have probably seen on your social media. I've been watching a few videos of it because I kind of want one for myself because I'm starting to like dip my toes. It's not the Pocket. As much as I want the Pocket, as much as I think the Pocket's a better system, it's the Anbernic RG35 XX or VX. It's one of the Anbernic systems.
Man, there's so many of these pop up nowadays. It's hard to keep track sometimes.
Yeah. Really, if you because I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos about the Anbernic devices, and they're like, hey, these are really good if you want to get into emulation. I mean, if you have the money and you're able to get it, and you're patient enough to wait for the analog, I would say go with the analog, especially if you just want handheld stuff up to the 16-bit era. Whereas the Anbernic stuff, they can go up to PS1. They have one that goes up to GameCube even. If you want to get into video game emulation, if you want like a device like that, like, hey, the Anbernic is there and it helps out. And it's also really good. There's a lot of really good guides online, so you can, customize it, put it and make it the way you want it to be. Or if you're someone like me who just wants to play games right out of the box, it can do it right out of the box.
Yeah. Cops, don't listen to this. I might or might not have like just literally like 100 games on my PC from every console generation, and emulating on a PC. We've been doing that since the PC's been around. But like to be able to have it handheld and actually work, because that's another problem. It's not just having it work on a PC; it's translating it into a piece of other software. That's exciting. So like one day I will have it, but until then, I'm just gonna play everything on my PC.
Can I just real quickly say, like, because you said cops don't listen to this, I just love the idea of a cop listening to this, be like, oh, sorry, let me just mute this.
Our FBI guy just mutes us for a bit.
Yeah. Ben's father's like, all right, I'm gonna check out now.
Your dad's a cop.
Retired, but yeah. But yeah, look, if you had the money, definitely go with the analog, because seeing an analog in person, because a friend of mine at work has it. Oh man, that thing is pretty. That screen is just gorgeous, immaculate. And also, if you have like cartridges from Game Boy Advance, you just plug them right in and it plays them. There's adapters so you could get other games like Game Gear, Lynx, and a few other things. Or if you just want to like put some cores in it, and you can emulate some stuff like from all the way up to the Super Nintendo. It's like, this is fantastic. This is great.
I love technology.
Well, I think that does it for our gift recommendation section, which means it's time to move on to our Christmas topic, which this year is a discussion of the Shudder film release. It's a Wonderful Knife, which came out this year, and we all watched it.
Cute play on words.
And so now we have to talk about
it. Yeah. So full spoilers, by the way, for It's a Wonderful Knife. Let me get the credits that I am normally much better at remembering to get than I was this year.
If you haven't seen or heard this movie, y'all, have you ever seen It's a Wonderful Life? Imagine that, but spooky and not as spooky.
So this is
true.
Yes, true.
So this is honestly, yeah. This is directed by Tyler McIntyre, written by Michael Kennedy. Oh, Michael Kennedy wrote Freaky.
Yeah.
Nice. I like Freaky.
I mean, Freaky Friday, It's a Wonderful Life, Knife. Like, he loves to do this kind of thing.
Yeah. Tyler McIntyre has screen story credit on Five Nights at Freddy's. You know,
this is his first like big. You know, a director hasn't quite made it because he doesn't have his own Wikipedia page yet. He's done a lot of smaller stuff. This is his big first movie. Bless you, sir. Bless you.
Yeah, VHS 99 was one of his.
Yeah, it's
ones.
an anthology.
This is the one he did like right before that. Yeah. All right. So, what do we think of the lesbian slasher flick? It's a Wonderful Knife.
I love the fact that it's about lesbians. I mean, I really try to be positive on this podcast, even with the worst movies. Like Five Nights at Freddy's, I gave the highest review. I think this is a bad movie. I'm just gonna say it. I think this is a bad movie. It's nonsensical in parts. It didn't need to be. There's things thrown in that don't make any sense. There's things that the characters do and say that I'm just like, what are we doing here? And the most important thing is, if this is a slasher movie, I can forgive all of that. I've seen, including Sparks, tons of slasher movies. I've seen every bad slasher movie in the last 20 years. Like that's big notable, right? If your kills are at least interesting and fun, I'll accept it. The kills are so boring and made with so little ingenuity. Even that left me wanting. The only good aspect is like, yes, there is some good LGBTQ representation in this movie. That doesn't make a movie good. That should just be the standard in Hollywood, is that we just accept people for who they are. So like, I'm not going to give this movie a pass because it features that. I wish I could be more glowing on this one. Some characters are fun, but otherwise I'm just like, at least it was short.
There's two decisions that the movie makes that like absolutely floor me and baffle me. To one to the point where like I can't forgive it, and the other one to the point of where I just don't understand what they were even doing. And that does make it a challenge. Like I like the leads.
Yeah.
I like a fair bit of these actors in other things. But I don't think that, much to what Ryan said, I don't think the direction is very good. It's not creative enough. It's very paint by number slasher in like the worst way. And the only thing that gives it any spark of life is the queer representation. That's my general thoughts.
Ben?
Dear Lord, this movie is predictable as all hell. Holy crap ass. It's like the second the movie started, it's like, oh, I think I know who the killer is. Yep, there they are. Or even like the
Oh, you didn't watch the trailer then, did you?
No, I did not.
Well, the trailer tells you who the killer is.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't watch it. Yeah, I didn't watch the trailer. I went to this movie completely blind. And even just going through the motions, I'm like, okay, something bad's gonna happen. You're gonna die. You're gonna die. It's just all this. Yeah, it's predictable. And I think the other positive thing I could say about it is, yeah, this is a short movie, and it was just. I don't know if it's because I don't want to say it's because I've seen Scream or other better slasher films.
Oh, it wants you to know you've seen Scream, Ben. It throws it in your face.
Yeah, it does.
They named a character Gail Prescott.
Yeah, the aunt's name is Gail Prescott.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
I didn't catch that either. Yeah, this movie's not good.
I'm probably gonna be the most positive on this one, honestly. I'm not here to defend it. Movies don't need my defense, and I'm not here to debate whether or not it's a good movie or not, because it's not. It's definitely a film that I did give a pass to because of its queer representation. As Ryan said, it shouldn't be it shouldn't be this way. It should be the norm in Hollywood. It's not, though. A movie like this is very difficult to get made in Hollywood, and I'm happy that Shudder took the chance to make a queer slasher film. But outside of that, there's really, if there wasn't this, I wouldn't like it as much as I do. And like is a strong word in this case. On my Letterboxd, to give it a 3.5 stars, I gave it a full star more than I would have if it was straight people in it. So like it's a 2.5 star film for me. But because there's queer people in it, and because I like the leads and I like the queer rep in it, I gave it an extra star, if that makes sense. So sure, that's kind of where I'm sitting at it. But I agree with everything you guys are saying. I do want to defend, like, there's this thing that Ben talks about quite frequently on the show, where he talks about predictability in a bad sense. Now, Ben and I just want to say real quickly in that defense, predictability is not inherently bad. There are plenty of predictable films that are good. I've talked about Blue Beetle on this podcast quite frequently, which is a very predictable film, but it's a very good film in my opinion. Sometimes you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Right. You just need to make a really good wheel. So like predictability is not inherently bad. And so I don't believe that this film is bad because it is predictable. It's the way that it's using those predictable elements in not fun ways. There's no twist on it. There's really just nothing. So it's inherently being predictable inherently is not a bad thing. But the way this film is making it worse.
Well, we're talking about a wheel. This is a flat tire.
Well, I want to counter to what you're saying. Not full counter, Brandon, but like just to what you're saying. Like, I think predictable does become a problem in a slasher.
Yes.
If you can see the kill coming and you know not only that who's going to die, but how it's going to happen, that is a problem.
That's inherent in what a slasher movie is.
I think for a slasher film, that's a specific problem. Not like predictability of the entire plot, but the predictability of kills. Sure. That you know when someone's going to die, you know, oh, this is going to be their death scene. Here's where they're. Yep, that's how. Cool. And some of that comes from familiarity with more of the genre, and then some of it is just like really clear, heavy-handed foreshadowing. And I think that slows down a slasher film. So in that vein, I think that's a particular problem.
Right, I think that's
but I agree with your broader point.
Yeah,
I agree with your broader point.
I think, but I see, because I don't think that's what. And if that's what Ben was getting at, then I'm sorry, I misread his predictable statement. You're right in the sense that, like, in a slasher film, you do want fun kills, you want inventive kills, and you're absolutely right. The kills in this film aren't. There's one kill that took me by surprise, and it's the kill of the mother. That I didn't see coming personally. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but I was. But I didn't see that one coming. But other than that, the kills are mostly just. I stab you in the gut. I stabbed you in the gut. I've stabbed you in the gut. And there's really no, like, if you're doing a slasher film based on It's a Wonderful Life, which is really kind of weird in its own sense, being a predictable film riffing off of It's a Wonderful Life is not necessarily a bad thing, but Sparks is right in the sense that, like, the kills shouldn't be generic, I stab you now, and now you're dead kills. That you want the kills. The thing about Freaky, like, Freaky's not a great movie. I think Freaky's a good movie, but Freaky has some really inventive kills, really fun kills. Yeah. The same thing with the other Christopher Landon film, Happy Death Day. Yeah, really fun kills, really inventive kills. Like, we've seen slasher films in this space do really fun and inventive kills that help it along over a more predictable kind of storyline. Like Freaky, we know at the end of Freaky, like, they're going to switch back again. That's going to be the story. But because it's a fun movie with good performances and inventive kills, it helps it along. And, like, I think that's kind of where this film falters.
Yeah.
I just don't think this is any fun. Like, the only time I'm having a partially good time is when our lead Winnie is hanging out with Weirdo, who everyone calls her Weirdo for some reason. Even her until the end of the movie. And I'm just like,
this was one of my things. So one of my things was, like, it's one of those movies where, like, you can see how there could have been a better version of it in it. And like, it's like the movie wants me to think that everyone calls her Weirdo because it's like thematically supposed to tie into being anti-queer, or like the town being anti-queer, or like people around being anti-queer, and it's because she's gay is why they call her weirdo and ostracize her. But you can't do that and then also have two other queer couples accepted in the social dynamic of the film.
aunt calls her weirdo.
Yeah, and so like it's never well developed of why she's ostracized like that. That really bothered me. I want to get into the thing that really, really bothers me about this movie, which is when we jump to a year later, and she's going through that day before she wishes she wasn't there. Everyone is shitty. Everyone's terrible. I honestly thought we were in the scenario already.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, her dad literally gives her this piece of shit garment and then gives her brother a truck.
You're my favorite child.
You're my favorite child. And like, that's what happens. And then everybody wants to just like move on from this. And then her boyfriend and one of her friends were having sex, like cheating for a year. The moment after like this horrible thing that happened.
Hey, you know what? You know what got a laugh out of me is when the girl, the side piece, I shouldn't call it that, but when she's just like, when she says, "Oh, thank God you know now," like that got a laugh out of me. I thought that was pretty funny.
But it's so callous and cold, and like the message of the movie by the end of it is like, those people didn't need to be better. You just needed to accept that your life, that those people are like that, and just be like, this is okay. And that's what she comes back to, is that they're like, they feel kind of bad because she had her speech and then she got drunk and hungover, at least from their perspective. So they're like, oh yeah, and she's like, but everything's fine now because I found the girl who I want to go be with, and like, okay, everything in your world still sucks.
Yep.
So that's what I also rubbed up against. Sorry, Benno. Let me just go off of that real quickly. I think the ending of this film flat out sucks. Like, because they do this kind of like meant to be this big reveal that instead of being George Bailey, Winnie is Clarence, to Bernie's George Bailey, and that doesn't make a lot of sense. Because like the point of It's a Wonderful Life isn't that the town is shitty. It's that George Bailey's life has become, George Bailey is thinking that his life has really taken a turn in the dumps. There's been a long line of things that George has become unhappy with his life. And so the whole reason why it's called It's a Wonderful Life is because he realizes, oh, I actually had a wonderful life. I have everything that I ever wanted in my life. But they do this thing where the town is actually bad, not Winnie. Winnie is technically, from the perspective of us, Winnie is the only sane person in this movie, having a very sane reaction to what has happened in this town, but nobody else is. So like, it's weird to put like George Bailey's wife into the It's a Wonderful Life scenario, not George Bailey. Like, because like the town is George Bailey, essentially. The town has really screwed things up. And so like, I don't get, like, at the end of it, she has gone on this change, but we're meant to believe that the town has changed fundamentally because of her life. And then I don't also like on that, I don't like that Bernie remembers at the end.
Well, and like, because they have no time to fix it otherwise, right? Because like they don't. Part of my problem is like, I like that there's queer representation here. I like those two leads. They do not do enough to build out that romance. They never kiss. They don't learn enough about each other that like it would be reasonable for her to come and like just approach her and be like, I know these things about you and I want to spend more time with you, and like blossom it. Instead, we're like, no, she just has two timelines in her head.
Yeah, she's Moira McTaggart.
What?
Well, she does. Well, they do kiss at the end of the when she's leaving the bad timeline, the quote unquote bad timeline.
Sure,
they do kiss at the end there.
My bad. I literally don't remember it.
That's fair. I mean, you really don't like this movie.
How unimpactful it felt.
Sure, Ben. I interrupted you though. I'm sure you want to get in on this. I apologize.
Oh no, you're good, bud. Yeah, the whole thing about trying to put It's a Wonderful Life into a slasher movie, it is weird, but you guys are right. I feel like there is a better movie in here. And I also wanted to reiterate, or not reiterate, but I want to agree with you guys about how just god awful the town is a year after the deaths, the initial deaths of her friend, the gentleman who didn't want to sell the house, and even the Justin Long's character, the Waters guy. But like the scene when the brother Buck comes up and essentially harasses, says, I should kill you right now in broad daylight, and her parents are just down the street a little bit. It's like, call the cops. That's a threat. This dude needs to be locked up. What is this BS right here?
Well, that's the thing. That's the other thing that kind of bugged me about this film is that, like, going back to like just fundamentally, it doesn't make sense why there's an It's a Wonderful Life story happening around this girl, because like the story isn't about her being guilty for the death of the mayor, for killing the mayor. Like if the story was she feels guilty, so she goes through this journey to learn that actually things would have been far worse if she hadn't done that. Yeah. That's at least something, but that's not what the story is. That's not what the journey is trying to tell us.
Right.
So like it does. So like it's this weird, like, jamming a slasher film into the It's a Wonderful Life story.
To your point, this movie doesn't know what its story is about.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what this story is trying to say. Like, it sometimes wants to be about, like, finding queer love, but I'm like, that doesn't seem like a challenge in this town by just the virtue of other queer relationships existing. And it's like, it's only challenging when the queer characters are removed, which is also shitty. We have to touch on, like, at the same time that you're doing queer representation, the majority of the film is spent with one of our queer characters dead and the other one, their couple, broken up.
Yeah.
And then we are focused on this other queer romance that we're trying to build. But like, we had to kill off our other queer characters to tell the story of the bad version. And like, that also sucks.
It honestly feels like the writer like smoked some weed and he's like, It's a Wonderful Life, It's a Wonderful Knife, and they started production the next day.
And then worked
like
backwards.
This isn't even the script is awful. Like half the things these people say is bad.
Oh,
our main character, a year after the massacre, she hates Christmas, right? She doesn't like Christmas, right? Am I correct in assuming that?
Well, she doesn't like that everyone's ignoring the year prior. Like, I don't think it's like a Christmas hatred.
But everybody's being festive and she isn't.
Right? She's anti-festive. Why does she have a Christmas ringtone?
No, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's stupid as shit. This movie bothers me. I wish it's not even fun. It's not even a fun movie. There's such a better movie here. If you just focused on Bernie and like actually got to learn who that person is instead of she's just the weird person for some reason, this would have been such a better movie. But it focuses on so many other characters who are bad. When the mom just turns into the drunkenness lady, I'm like, this is just like, oh, blah blah blah. And
that was the thing that actually,
wow, it's real dumb.
That was the thing that actually really pissed me off, is like the mom having her side piece, just sleeping with her side piece in the same house. Okay, there's actually something that actually brings me up to something that like I'm really frustrated this movie doesn't do more of, because that's a more interesting story. Is the town is hypnotized?
Yes,
like, openly hypnotized.
Bro, I lost it.
That is the other thing that bothers me about this movie. It bothers me less than the fact that the message is just accept that people around you are crappy. It bothers me less than that, but it bothers me a lot. Everyone has, like, Loki has put a spell on them.
They have green eyes.
Never explained. And like, there's one line that I think is trying to explain it, but it doesn't do a good job, and I don't think it suffices, which is where they say that his spirit is in the Aurora Borealis, meaning Waters, the guy she killed. His spirit is in the Aurora Borealis and put her here. And if you expanded on that enough to say that he is the one who has created this entire reality, so he controls it, I'd be like, fine,
yeah,
whatever. But that is not drawn A, B to C enough for me to say that that's true.
Bro, there's just a crowd of people, and they all have green eyes, and then he's like, are they hypnotized? And I'm like, what do you mean? And then you look at their eyes, they're all green. I'm like, what? Did this become like a sci-fi movie? Like, what are we doing?
And here's how you know that I could tell their eyes I could not tell their eyes are green, but they're glowing. They're like
Right, yeah.
sparkling in their eyes, and I'm like, oh,
Mm.
they're hypnotized. Like, so like the movie wants you to know, colorblind or not, that these
Yeah.
effers are hypnotized. And so like he's doing this like naughty or nice thing where he's like killing people on the stage, and I'm just thinking to myself like, this is a far more interesting idea than what you've already given me, and we're introducing this at the end of the film, so like I don't understand why you're introducing this if you're not going to do anything with this.
Yeah, it needed, and like when we see the dad doesn't have that in his eyes. But like one of the things that bothered me is that it's like, yeah, so now he's under the thumb of him and doing the killings for him, and I'm like, so
He kills your
Waters
son.
killed his son and broke his spirit, so he decided that he would murder on his behalf because he killed his son and broke his spirit. That makes zero sense. And then you throw in the hypnotization, and I'm like, I mean, I guess, but again, you did not explain that exists.
This movie doesn't even hit an hour and a half. It is an hour 27 minutes with credits, so it's like an hour 20 something, right? This movie is like, there's nothing in this movie, and it feels like stuff was cut from this movie. Like it kind of baffles me, like that they didn't have to put green eyes on anyone, and it would just be like random townsfolk, and I would just accept it just as much because this movie's not doing anything anyway. But then it throws this in at the end. It doesn't even give us any explanation for it. He has bodyguards who don't have green eyes? Why not? Are they just because they're paid a lot?
And then there's like this whole idea of the Aurora Borealis, which is like this thing. Like if the story was that the spirit is in the aurora and it's possessed and it creates this reality and it has put her there, that creates the idea that this reality was not created because she has decided she doesn't want to live anymore. Because like that's what I mean, look, It's a Wonderful Life is a very Christian film. That's what God is doing in It's a Wonderful Life. Is saying like, we want George Bailey. By the way, that's like It's a Wonderful Life is like 20 minutes of an alternate universe. So for people who haven't seen it, it's mostly just George Bailey's life and the 20 minutes being like, hey, like your life. But like the thing of this film, in It's Wonderful Life, God puts George Bailey into this world to teach them a lesson, to teach George that his life is in fact wonderful. But if you wanted to like twist that and be like, this demonic spirit of Mayor Winters puts her in this world, into this worse world where she never existed, that he rules as punishment for killing her, that's something. But that is introduced in the film about halfway through, but that's not the implication of this mystical aurora that's there, that has a history of being in this town prior to this moment. It's not this possessed thing. It is the thing that is trying to teach her a lesson until it's not, until it feels like the screenwriter was like, actually, we're not gonna, that's probably a bad idea because the story isn't making any sense. So let's try and do it this way. But then you have two disjointed narratives based around this aurora that make the film make even less sense.
The aurora turns red. It's like, oh, it's mad at you, and I'm like, oh, it's sentient now. Okay.
The more that we talk about it, the more I'm baffled by like, why wouldn't you go? You could do anything with this concept. Like you can tell the story the way you want to tell it. Why wouldn't you have our co-leads of Birdie and Winnie both have made a wish at the same time? And that's why they're both in this scenario. And like they both have their retention. That would make them automatically be more connected to each other.
That's very true.
And like it makes more sense because she would be making the wish like that she doesn't want to live anymore.
Yeah.
And like it's intervening on that behalf. And she's making the wish like everyone would be better if I wasn't alive. And like it's mixing the two. And that's why this reality exists, is for both of them to be put into that, basically like cosmically putting them together.
That's a good idea.
One of you is the answer for the other. And like if you'd centered that, it makes their dynamic better. It makes the relationship more focused, and it makes the circumstances of why things are happening around them easier to fabricate and explain.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the slasher film kind of gets in the way a little bit, because like that, what you're talking about, actually a pretty interesting It's a Wonderful Life riff drama.
Yeah.
Like I'd watch that just without the slasher film elements, but then you include the slasher film elements and you're hoping that would make it a little bit more fun, but it doesn't. It actually makes it a little bit more boring.
Our first kill, and it's funny because Megan remarked on it, the very first kill where the old man's throat gets slashed, the knife's just like over his throat. and it's like very bad, and we're just like, oh no, is this the quality we're going? Oh no,
No, it's worse than that. Did you notice it's the wrong way? He cuts him with the dull end of the knife.
Oh, that's even worse.
I clocked that immediately.
There's the eyeball, like the what is it? Like it's like an icicle, or it's like a
candy cane.
And it's like they don't even edit it well. Like you put it in, and then we just get a shot of it. It's like it doesn't even go through. It's just already in his brain. I'm like, it's just like Slasher 101, guys.
It's through the mouth. It's through the mouth.
Yeah, it's through
the mouth. Yeah, but I mean, if we don't see it go through, it's just the shot of it's in my mouth now. And I'm like, that's what you used to do in the 70s when you had no budget. But like, it's just like, it isn't even a good slasher movie. Like I don't like the characters are really dull. Like Winnie's fine. Like I like Bernie, but like again, there's not enough for me to really connect.
Another part of the problem is when you create like the majority of the story taking place in the shitty reality. That means that like we're dealing with the shittier version and also impermanent versions of characters. So when they die, I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Random guys at parties who I don't know. Now there's an alternate version of them.
I already don't care about those characters at all, but these are even the worst versions of them who live in a reality I know is impermanent.
They all smoke crack.
What's also really, really, they create this idea that if she doesn't fix this, then she could live in this reality forever, which creates a ticking clock in this whole thing. And like, it's not necessarily something that you didn't need it in a different movie. I think probably it would create some interesting stakes, but it really doesn't here. But you also have this idea of like what Sparks is saying, like going back again to It's Wonderful Life. And I'm sorry to make so many connections between the two, but this is the movie it's riffing off of. So
they want you to.
So they want you to. So like if you're looking at It's a Wonderful Life, when you're introduced to other versions of the people of Pottersville, I'm sorry, it's Pottersville and
Watersville or whatever.
No, it's Angel Falls.
No, in the original, it's Bedford Falls. Bedford Falls in the original, and then Pottersville in the alternate universe. When you're in that alternate reality of Pottersville, when you're introduced to other characters that we've met throughout George Bailey's life, it's tragic because we see the impact that George Bailey has had on people, the positive impact of what it could have done, specifically because of how Potter Biff Tannen the whole town. If you're for the Back to the Future folks out there, but when you get to this, you have a really interesting idea of like, what does a year-long slasher film do for people of this town? What is that? How is that going to affect this town? How does this kind of cancer infect this town who has been ravaged for every week? But like, they're all just kind of generically more dickish. And there's not really, there's a line that Joel McHale says in this movie that says it's crazy how much of a difference one person can make in people's lives. And that's supposed to be kind of a wake up call to Winnie, but he's talking about his the brother who passed away, Jamie.
Jimmy.
It's Jimmy and Winnie, cute. And so like Jimmy, he's talking about Jimmy, but like that's not the lesson of this film, because Winnie's impact is pretty much she killed one dude, and the town was maybe worse for it.
And again, it wants you to I won't even say it wants to, because it doesn't do a good job of doing this. The idea should be, from its conventions, right, about her impact for Birdie.
Yeah.
But it's just not about that. And like that's a problem. Is that it's just not about that, because like it's not just about the fact that she killed one guy, and that also should be something she has to confront, that she feels like that's all her value is, and then it isn't.
Yeah, when Buck confronts her, she's like, I felt guilt this entire year. Like, bro, you saved someone's life and you killed a murderer. Like, I understand you have like trauma from hurting someone, but you shouldn't feel like I did something bad. You literally killed a serial killer who's going to kill your brother. Who's going to kill your brother? Like, I know. That just also bothers me. I'm like, you should not feel this bad about something.
You can be traumatized about it.
Yes.
And you can feel awful that you lost your best friend.
Yes.
I think both of those things make sense and are a valid place of trauma for the movie to start from.
Yeah.
But the idea of this like heavy guilt is just weird.
Yeah.
And then you can also have it like, because if the idea is that no one's confronting this trauma, right? Like no one's confronting this trauma that this girl has gone through of losing her best friend or losing or almost losing her brother and killing this person, that people are ignoring this trauma that is just kind of like sat inside her forever. But the story shouldn't be that, right? It should be that people are trying to help her move past this trauma, but have her, but it should, she feels, again, if you're going to do the It's a Wonderful Life thing, she should feel guilty for killing this person, and have everyone tell her, hey, that's not, you shouldn't feel guilty for this. But you know, because we know how these voices talk. Anybody with depression knows that at the end of the day, the voices here win out over the voices out there every single time. There is not a day of my life where this voice has ever been drowned out by anything that any of my friends has ever said. So if you wanted to say that that's what she's going through, that is the trauma that she is going through, this guilt, this internal guilt that is constantly every day telling her, you were wrong for killing this person, you were wrong for killing this person, and have her family be people trying to help her through this trauma, not just her sweet Aunt Gail, then you've got something here where now she has to go on a journey of learning, oh yes, I actually did make a difference, I did the right thing. And that's why this journey is important. But halfway through, the film decides that the journey should be about Bernie and Winnie's love story, and then it totally cuts that off. But I can't even say that is even right. I'm going to amend that statement and say it cuts it off, because it doesn't, because that's not what the movie's about.
Right. Yeah. And again, like, to your point, this is why it bothers me so much, is because like that isn't the world she leaves. She leaves a world where everyone's just kind of really shitty around her and shitty about it, or like at worst, at like best, passive. Like her brother is passive about it, and like that's at best. Yeah. And when she comes back, none of that's changed. She just has been like, wow, it was a lot shittier in the other thing where everyone was getting killed, and like it was grayscale all the time, and there were only blue lights in the town, and it was basically like the Ultraman alternate reality from Smallville. That was really bad. And then she comes back, and she's like, man, whew, at least this is like 25% worse than I'd want it to be, instead of 75. Like, wow, what a relief. When she let me go running through the town in this tracksuit. I think it's so ugly.
Yeah. When she confronts her ex-boyfriend and best friend, she's like, you guys are perfect together. I'm not even mad. I'm like, that, bro, fuck that. You really are easy to forgive cheaters and people who've lied to you for over a year. That's crazy.
But you know, but there's a world where that's like fine, right? Because she learned that she didn't actually love that person. Like maybe it's a gay awakening story. There's not really anything.
But it's about how she responds to what they did.
Sure, but there's not really like this isn't really a gay awakening story. It's pretty much said from scene one that Winnie is gay but dating a man. And like that was kind of weird to me, because like she's so clearly not straight. And so like if the story was like in the world, I keep making like far better films here, in the world where this movie is a story of Bernie and Winnie both saying they wish they never existed, and then the creating this idea, and then that becomes this kind of gay awakening story of Winnie learning that she is actually gay, then I can see the world where she confronts her boyfriend and be like, you know what, I was never in love with you anyway, so
yeah, exactly. You know, but they don't say that. She's just like, I forgive you guys. I'm so happy for you, which could be sweet. But like, man, in this movie, it's just like, I didn't fit.
Like, it's one thing to like be accepting of like, you were cheating on me, and you know what, I realized I'm queer, and like this whole thing, and you were right. Like I wasn't present, and I had faults, but the context is, we started this a year ago. Essentially the night, like not long after or immediately after, your best friend was murdered, and you murdered a man, and you've been carrying around that weight, and you've been absent because of that. And because you've been absent because of that, I needed some attention. So I went and slept with your friend. And we just decided to keep that going in secret for a whole year, rather than just like, you know, breaking up with you.
Those are bad people.
Those are bad people who deserve to be told they're bad people for that kind of thing. And like the film being forgiving of it is like disgusting. And they're in this movie too much. get out of here. I don't care about them. They're bad people, and it keeps wanting to tell me like, no, it's okay because they really love each other. And I'm like, that doesn't.
I don't care.
I would have gave up the 10 minutes of all those people smoking crack in that party for more Bernie Winnie time. Like, how much more crack do I see need to get smoked? I live in Southern California.
There's a lot, like Spark said, there's a lot of times in this movie where, or like those two people, it's like they're bad people. It's like, don't give them the time of day. I would have just like, hey, you guys suck, but I have more feelings. We'll talk later. Bye. Or just tell them off. Just tell them they suck or something. Because
look, it's a cute. I was just to say, it's a cute reference that she's running through the town saying how much she loves all these moments, but like it's hollow because it doesn't make any sense. Because like the reason why George Bailey does it in the original is because of how much he thought he hated the town, but he doesn't hate the town. So he's yelling, "Oh my goodness, I love all these things in this town that I spent my entire life with." But she has no connection to this town at all. But there's this weird. Again, to kind of keep it in with the It's a Wonderful Life, there's a weird subplot that the killings are what's the word?
Connected?
No, they're real estate related.
Yes.
They're related to real estate holdings
within the town. Good.
But it doesn't. There's no connection with any shop within the town for us to care about that these real estate people are losing all the things. So when she sees like, oh, the mayor owns this entire town, what does that mean to us? Because we don't know any of the townspeople outside of Joel McHale.
Yes. Aunt Gail Prescott, her wife was killed, and her print shop was bought out. But like, I have no connection.
Apparently she had a print shop.
Yeah, I thought she said prank shop, and then Megan said no. I think she said print. So like, I didn't even hear the right shop that was bought out. Right? Like, you're right, Brandon. Like, there are so many avenues. Like, we can focus on the capitalization of this town, of how it's moving towards one person owning everything, but that's hollow. So I'm just like, there's like no substance. This is a sandwich with literally no meat. It's just two pieces of bread.
There's a lot of nice ideas there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw out just some quick positives. Brandon alluded to the scene earlier where Joel McHale is talking about can you believe the difference that one life makes? And like, could you imagine if that person's lucky? Could you imagine if they had to see what they leave behind, how painful that would be? And I'll say, I like the writing of that scene.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the best scenes in the movie. I think Joel McHale is acting really well in it. That scene worked for me.
Yeah.
I think Justin Long's character in his like goofiness works.
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
I think if he were allowed to go up like 3 more levels and the rest of the movie rose to meet him, it would be a more fun film.
It should be way campier.
Even if it still didn't capture the substance of a lot of things we've been talking about thematically, it would be a lot more fun to watch because he is, I think, aiming for as high as possible he can, the level of what the film deserves.
I love big fake teeth.
And like, he's pulled back by direction and writing, but his idea of being what he is spot on. Like, he would be if he was allowed to stretch it a little further and the movie rose to meet that, I think it would be a lot more fun to watch.
He set me up to thinking the movie was going to be way sillier, and it's simply not. It is just kind of boring, and I wish everybody was as kooky as that character is. I'm glad he came back, because like, him at the Christmas thing is like really silly and fun. But like,
the thing is, like, because if you raise everything up to be really silly and cartoony and like really out of the weeds, but Birdie and Winnie is the only thing that's like sincere at the heart of it, then it stands out all the more and it works.
Yeah.
Like, everything else can be like off the rails insane, as long as they're solid. That queer representation, the idea of the queer romance being found, will work, and everything else can just be a good freaking slasher time as it should be. Like, it can just be goofy and off the rails. And I feel like Justin Long was aiming for that as high as he possibly could and held back.
Yeah.
There's something there's a couple more things I wanted to mention. We've been dancing around the ending of the film, her kind of living in this world and being like, oh, I just have to accept that everyone's shitty in my life. I like that the family give her a new camera. It shows that they really do like her. I wish, but again, it comes out to hollow because the family's not the people who went through the It's a Wonderful Life scenario. It's her. I do like that scene, but like, I just don't. And then like, I like that scene because like, then there's like, we're going to listen to you. We're going to help you through this. We're sorry that we've been ignoring you all this time. Like, there's the thing. but again, like it's hollow because the family's not the people who went through the scenario. She is. So like I don't understand why that change happened in the family
I don't think it's
other than it's needed to.
Well, I don't think it's a real change, right? Like they had this gift held back, but it's a gift that should have been given at the same time as the truck.
Yeah.
And I do think like contextually they're meant to feel bad because like she did go off at them the night before and then got drunk. It's to their perspective.
Yeah.
Got drunk and got hungover. And so they're like, all right, we need to be maybe a little more gentle, but I don't think they're changed people.
Yeah.
I think like they did get this camera, but they still don't want to talk about this. They still don't want to address it and they don't really want to support her.
But what you're talking about, what you're doing right here is real quickly, Ben, what you're doing right there is you're putting real life things on hollow people that don't exist. So like you're right, in a real life scenario, that would be the case, but the film is telling you that's not the case, but it doesn't work because these are hollow characters that don't make any sense.
Well, but I'm saying like it, because in the context of the movie, they didn't go through the events of the alternate reality. They are the same people from the night before when we left, which means they're still shitty. They are still shitty people. They're not better.
Which is what I'm saying doesn't make any sense about the ending because they didn't go through the scenario. So why does the film want to tell me that they've changed? Whether or not you believe it or not, the film is telling you these people are changed now because of what happened, and it doesn't work because these aren't three-dimensional characters. They're plot contrivances for the character for people to bounce off of, and that's not how you make good stories. That's not how you make good Christmas stories. Full stop. Ben, you wanted to say something though. I apologize.
Oh no, I was just gonna harp on like the parents for giving the kid the brother a truck, because even when we get to that Christmas Eve scene, when the aunts
you can drive it too. It's for both of us.
Look, he's just trying to save his ass. But yeah,
also, like, why doesn't she drive the truck over to Birdie's?
Oh, that's a good point.
She has to run through the town screaming how much she loves it.
Yeah. But yeah, like the whole, even you hear one of the aunts say is like, or the mom says like, you get to open one present on Christmas Eve and then we get to open everything else in the morning. But it's like, you won't give the truck on Christmas Eve if your family does that tradition. That's dumb. Or that's like, here's the biggest freaking thing.
For last, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But that's a nitpick.
I wanted to say a line that I thought was really funny. I wanted to say a positive, as Sparks was talking about before. There's a positive. The tracksuit, fine. I think she looks cute in it. I don't understand why she hates it so much. But she says you gave me a lesbian tracksuit, and then her aunt says, we wouldn't wear that. I thought that was very funny.
Yeah, that was a good joke. Go ahead, Ben.
Actually, a line I did think was funny was when she's talking to her aunt and she convinces her that, yeah, I'm your niece.
That was cute. That was cute.
It's like, in 1999, you did this. And she's like, fair point. Okay. You are my nephew. Or you are my niece. Get in here. Yeah, there's just so much. Like, the more I think about this movie, because I will not lie, the second I was done with this movie, part of me was like, all right, that was a thing I watched, and then I instantly went going to do something else. There are so many times, like, even when I was trying to tell my fiance of what It's a Wonderful Life is, because she's never seen the movie before, and the more I'm trying to think of, and more I'm like watching this and trying to, or not trying to, but I was like, there's other avenues that this movie could have done to make it a better movie instead of what we got, and we've talked about this before, and to me, the sign of a movie that's really not good is when you can think of a better scenario or better plot points as you're watching the movie. Yeah. Like, that's the sign of a not well-made or especially not a well-written film. And also, there are just parts of this movie where I felt like the acting was just so not good. It just felt awkward. Like, really, like there were pauses in between areas. There were some times where there's like one character said something, but it was really flat. I do want to give credit where credit's due. The scene with Joel McHale where him and Winnie are talking about Jimmy in his office. I was like, yeah, that is a really good scene. He's bringing it. But then there's another scene where the mom, where she, I know she's just trying to act like it's Christmas, let's be happy. But it's like, your daughter is freaking traumatized. This does not make any sense. You should be like, hey, are you okay? But no, it's like, oh, yay, happy Christmas time. Yay. Our son is like, he's a business partner for the dad. Money, yay. And it's like, you all suck. You really do all suck.
No matter how good you could be as an actor, if you have a shitty script, it's incredibly hard to sell bad lines.
Well, and I will say, like, the other thing is, I think this is a very clear example where it's not just a script problem; it is a director problem. Like, I don't think the direction is good, which means I also don't think the director knew how to like encourage or push the actors or guide them into better takes. If they happen to hit gold, they happen to hit gold.
Yeah.
There's something that Sparks said that I want to go back to, which is this town isn't real. This alternate reality town isn't real. So the dad is revealed to be a new killer, which we've already talked about is a weird decision, blah, blah, blah. But they decide to kill him because they think killing the dad will help reset the timeline and go back. But sorry, I'm gonna rewind a bit because I just remembered something that I really hate. You know that scene when they drop the angel on the floor and then they all step over him? I hate that shit.
I was gonna bring it up.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah. Hey guys, have you seen Scream? Let's watch a worse version of it.
Scream.
You gotta kill him. That's the moment you kill him. Like we've done this before. We've done this for decades. We're done.
Why when Birdie first jumps over, because she's the first one to get over, she wouldn't just at least kick the knife away from the killer.
Yeah.
I don't even like.
So like the dad being killed, but there's no weight to the father's death, to Joel McHale's death in the movie theater, because like this isn't. There's a reason why It's a Wonderful Life isn't a slasher film, and it's because like when we're in Pottersville at the end of the film, we don't care. These aren't our versions of the characters. So if they die, they go back and George Bailey goes back in time and everything's fine again. There's no weight to that. So like if you kill a main important character and it doesn't have any ramifications, like it's not like revealing that the dad was the second killer the whole time or blah, 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 blah. It just feels hollow. Like, and even Winnie isn't even like that upset that she killed her alternate reality version of her dad.
Yes, 100%. Even though it's not her actual dad, she murders her father. And then when she sees him again, there's not like a big like moment of like, oh, like, the night I had dad, you wouldn't believe it or anything. I'm just like, and also bringing up that the dad being like the killer in this world, like, I thought they were going to set up that he was the second killer. So there would be a twist in some capacity in the real world. We don't even get that. We don't even get that.
He's controlled.
Because yes. It's just like every opportunity this movie has to do something cool, they don't do it.
And the last thing I want to say that's a negative, because I have one more positive that I want to talk about, and then I'm pretty much done talking about this movie. We talked about kills. If you're doing a Christmas slasher film, if you're doing a Christmas film in this kind of vein, we've talked about Christmas movies. We for the past couple of years, we like to do these kind of like alternate Christmas movies. These ones that aren't like It's a Wonderful Life or the Santa Claus, like more fun. We did Better Watch Out. That was a really fun movie and really liked that movie. Violent Night, we talked about last year. Really great movie. I really enjoyed them. I watched that movie just before I watched this one. Huge mistake. Huge mistake watching Violent Night before this movie, because Violent Night is a really good case for having kills in a Christmas movie be specifically geared towards Christmas memorabilia, Christmas like you go into the movie looking for Christmas kills, getting killed with a candy cane, getting killed with an ice pick, getting hit with a hammer. That's not, get the end. John Leguizamo gets like shunted up a chimney and like crushed to death. Like, yeah, you come into a Christmas slasher film, you want kills that feel very much in line with the kind of story that you're going to get, the kind of story that you're riffing on. And in this case, Christmas. I haven't seen Thanksgiving, but the trailer at least looks like there's some Thanksgiving related kills in the film. So like you go looking for that sort of thing, and to have the kills be in this movie just kind of getting stabbed in the gut a few times doesn't work. It doesn't make it more fun. There's no reason why this needs to be a Christmas movie other than you're riffing off of a very popular Christmas movie. So like I don't. So it was very upsetting, very 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 upsetting. That said, I do kind of like the angel design. If I'm honest, I think the angel, the idea of an angel at the top of a Christmas tree killing people is kind of cool.
Yeah,
it's all right.
At first, I thought it was like this supposed to be like a ghost of Christmas, whatever. But yeah, the angel's pretty neat. The angel design is decent.
that is, I will say just real quick, that is another section where like I wish there was more competence here to have gone further with that, because like you could have played in an ambiguousness where like maybe where like once we're in the alternate reality, is the angel a real angel? Like you could have played with a lot of Christmas stuff there. There's just other avenues. I'm not saying like that wouldn't have muddied the film or anything, but like there are ways to make like the angel's presence feel in the alternate reality even grander than they have been, like Quark music when they show up and that kind of thing. Like there are ways to play into its aesthetic to make it like feel grander than it did in her regular reality, so that it's putting her even more on the back foot.
They want you to remember it's a Christmas movie because over the track they just have jingle bells in the background. Just jingle bells. Also, I was so ready for there to be multiple killers, because again, this is also like doing a lot of Scream stuff. The first part of the movie, that dude's teleporting like super fast. He disappears. He's immediately under a bridge. I'm like, okay, so we have multiple killers. There's no way somebody is this fast, and then we don't even get that. They just wanted it to be super quick and spooky. I'm like, there's not even a good payoff for that. How'd you get under that bridge so fast, sir? It's crazy.
Classic.
Yeah, but also I want to agree with Brandon's point about how you're watching a Christmas movie where it's a violent Christmas movie like Violent Night, where there's a bunch of Christmas themed kills. The only Christmas themed kill that I remember is the kid with the candy cane behind the skull. And at first I'm like, that's actually a pretty creepy way to die, because you're making out with your girlfriend and then all of a sudden she's like, oh, what'd you eat? And it turns out it's blood. He's dead. But then it's the next.
What'd you eat? Turns out it's blood.
Yeah, it's like surprise, bitch. It's like surprise. But then you're absolutely right, because we don't see the candy cane go through, and then the next shot is like the part of the candy cane outside of his mouth. It's like that would have been do a double kill then. But at the same time, it would have been. It's like this whole thing.
The last positive I want to say. We've already talked about it. This scene with Aunt Gail being convinced in the alternate reality that Winnie is her niece. That's just a trope I like, of convincing someone that they're in an alternate, that you're in an alternate reality, you're related to this person or you're friends with this person, and you tell them something personal about them and they believe you. I just like that trope. I'm glad this movie implemented it. I think it's kind of fun.
Sure.
I could use more, like, get rid of half the other characters. I could use more Gail. Like she was like the only like sane, logical person in the whole movie. I feel like I could use more of her.
Her death moment sucked.
Yeah.
Like for a character you do care about in the alternate reality, like maybe the only one that isn't Birdie or Winnie.
Yeah.
Just no impact to it.
Yeah.
It's the one where she just like it goes through the door and has a knife in the back. Yeah. You're so right, guys. Like for this being a Christmas horror movie, there's shockingly little Christmas happening with our kills, and like that is just like a requirement of this type of genre movie. Like it feels just super lazy. Like this feels like shot like a weekend, man.
If you're watching Anna in the Apocalypse and she's not killing people with a sharp giant candy cane, it's less fun.
Yeah,
it's less fun. But because she is, it's more fun. Literally the bare minimum that you do to do this kind of movie.
It's the idea of things feeling discordant. You are used to Christmas and Christmas ambiance being used for like pleasant and happy and joyful, and that's the context of it. So when you juxtapose it against violence or even in a silly way like blood and all that kind of stuff, like it's meant to give you like it scratches a different itch of like, oh, these things aren't supposed to blend like this, and that makes it feel interesting and cool. And didn't do it.
I'm gonna recommend I'm gonna say 3. I was gonna say 2, but 3. There are 3 better Christmas horror movies you can watch. One of them is Rare Exports, which is a European movie that has like crazy like naked Santa elves trying to murder people. There is Santa's Sleigh, which stars the wrestler Goldberg, where he is a giant muscle-bound Santa Claus murdering the shit out of people. That movie's incredible. And this one's not as good because it has some really bad like sexual assault stuff in it. But Jack Frost, it's about a killer snowman, and that dude literally is like stabbing people with his nose and shit. Like, those movies are not great movies, but at least they're fun to watch.
We also just named Better Watch Out.
Better Watch Out is like an incredible movie. God, I love that movie. I would kill to get a sequel to that movie, which they set up. There's so many better examples. Like this just feels like really lazy. And like from the guys who made Freaky, like I'm honestly surprised.
Even notably the original Black Christmas.
Yeah, Black Christmas. Absolutely.
I haven't seen the new one though. I've heard good things.
Yeah,
but because I haven't seen it, I can't recommend it. But the original Black Christmas.
That's true.
Quite
good. Get killed with some Christmas lights.
I think we've already named Violent Night, Better Watch Out. Like there are much better versions of this type of film that I think are well worth your thoughts. I didn't hate it as much as even this reveal has made it seem. I thought it was kind of whatever watch. Yeah, it's not going to be on my Christmas rotation for sure. There's tons of better films. I wish that we could have been talking about how great this movie was, how it's another great kind of alternate Christmas movie for people who don't like watching The Grinch or whatnot. But unfortunately, this isn't it.
I'm genuinely sad that there isn't now. Now I feel like a hole of not having a good. We told a queer story using the template of "It's a Wonderful Life" through this, like both two people who thought that the world was better off without them and realized that it's better for each other if they're both
It's
there.
right there,
and
man.
like it that has now created this hole where I'm like, wow, I hate that we don't have that. I'm gonna rate it right now. I'll go ahead and lean into that. It's a 4.
Yeah.
Just second worst movie I watched this year. Just terrible.
What's the
Ghosted.
first?
Oh shit, it was that bad?
Ghosted.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Damn. I was never gonna watch it anyway. Yeah, honestly, since I haven't seen Ghosted, like I try to only because like, you know, life is short, y'all. I'm not trying to watch bad movies if I don't have to. So like a lot of the movies I watch on my own, like I watch them, make sure they're like at least the people I know like them. So like this is probably the worst movie I've seen this year. And like I look at like Five Nights at Freddy's, which I don't think is great. I had significantly more fun watching that movie. At least the kills and stuff are fun in that movie. It's got great animatronics. Like, yeah, this is a 4. Like I was really excited to watch this when you recommended it, because honestly, I probably wouldn't have got to it. But like this movie, there's so many better ideas that could have been done. It just feels like not even a cash grab. It's like, yo, let's I got a couple of weeks. Why not make this movie real quick? I wrote it in 7 hours. Like it's a bummer.
Yeah. Ben, rate it
3.
Ooh.
Yeah, this
movie's not good. This movie is really just bad. Like the whole time I'm watching this, like this feels like a straight to DVD, like those bargain bin movies you find at Walmart, and they're not even on the top of the bargain bin. They're like deep down in there. Like they're
that,
the $2
that big barrel
range,
where they're like $5.
Yeah.
It's like yeah.
And like the more you go down, the cheaper the movies are, and like the like it's like you go down like this is a $2 or $1 movie.
It's like the 4-pack of like B movie and like Madagascar 7 and like
yeah stuff like that. This movie, the whole time I was watching this, there were times I'm like, even was talking with you guys, it's like, yeah, there is a good idea in this movie. Stuff can't, like we've talked about all the time, stuff can be good. This isn't one of them, because I don't know if this guy was just like on a horrific deadline and procrastinated the hell out of this movie, or it was just like, you know, let's just like bust it out. Let's just see what happens. And it's like, this isn't good. There are so many things that you could have done to like not only just tie in with the It's a Wonderful Life, but also to at least make it a decent, fun slasher film and be like, who's the killer? Or like, okay, we know one of them, but then like, here's a twist. There's more than one. There's 3 of them or something. I don't know. It's not fun. It's bad.
I will also point out that Ryan and I both are have a proclivity to like the main actor of this because we liked her in Yellow Jackets.
She's in one of my favorite shows, Yellow Jackets.
And even that couldn't bring this movie all the way up. For me, I'll just say real quick, like I would give this a whole rating or more higher if that damn message of the movie at the end of like everyone's still terrible. Like you went back and like you just need to learn to accept that like this is still better than the worst possible outcome, and it's like, oh, okay, cool, like can't do it.
I think for me it's not the worst movie I saw this year. That still goes to 65 and Strays. Fucking hated Strays. But I think it is definitely down there. God, 65 is so bad. God, I fucking hate 65. And like I think this film suffers from too many ideas. Very disjointed. It needed a second pass, maybe a third pass. This doesn't feel like someone wrote this in their sleep to me. This feels like someone wrote the first draft and turned it in and called it a day. And you needed another pass, or you needed an editor. You needed something to clean up the script, make it a little bit more concise, make it a little bit cleaner, figure out what the message is, because this movie as it is does not know what the message is. That said, I like the queer rep. I like the two main characters. It's really important for me that that aspect of this film exists. Yes, I wish it was stronger. Yes, so for me, I'm still going to give it the highest rating, but it's still a 5. It's a 5 out of 10 for me.
If you guys want to watch some good queer representation in good media, watch Bottoms or watch Our Flags Mean Death. Those are both significantly better and feature prominent queer representation.
You guys saw Bottoms?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bottoms is incredible. I love that movie.
Like one of the funniest movies of the year, and almost the entire cast is queer representation. Our Flags Mean Death is a great comedy pirate show by Taika Waititi. It's like one of the good things he's made in the last couple years, unfortunately, but that has some great queer rep too. There is definitely not as much out there, but like there is. You search for it.
That's the thing. I'm not saying that this film is. This film for me is marginally better because it has queer rep. Without it, there's nothing in this film for me to like. So because it's there, I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that because it's there, the film is in fact better marginally. Like I gave it a 5. Like a 5 is not a passing grade.
That was more for the audience.
But the audience should definitely watch Bottoms. Bottoms is an incredible movie. I loved it to death. I'm so happy you guys watched it.
I'm going to be really transparent real quick and just say that like. The queer representation is why I'm giving it a 4.
Yes,
it's really a 2.
Yeah,
like I want to be clear. I'm still thinking about the queer representation and giving it a 4. Like this is just a difference in where our ratings are, and that's fine because they're all individualized. But I want to be really clear. It's only as high as a 4 because of the queer representation.
You're right.
Liking those leads.
If you're right, if this were just like a straight white woman and like it's about her boyfriend, like I would have probably stopped watching the movie, like for real, because like I've seen enough straight boring movies in my life. So like, I just wish they tried more because like I want to recommend a good queer horror movie.
I love when we do a review where we go on forever because we're just mad.
It doesn't happen that often.
No, it doesn't.
But like every once in a while, it's nice to have a release.
It's Christmas.
It's been a while. It's how long has it been since Crabs Grindelwald where we all went off on that one?
All right, friends, let's turn the lens away from this and focus on ourselves. It's time for the mini podcast year in review. Mini. We'll see how Brandon does it.
All right, guys, my turn. Last year I told you guys everything we did, and this year I did the same thing. So, I'm going to run through some things with all of our shows. Just kind of like, and stop me if you want to reminisce, please, because we did a lot of stuff, and I want us to kind of embrace that sort of thing and be like, hey, this was really cool. I really enjoyed doing this. So, I will start with Fake Nerd Podcast, our main show, our mothership show. And this is all of recording on December 17th, 2023. This episode goes out on December 24th. There will probably be more episodes in the coming week. As of December 17th, this is what's been released. Everything. Of the Fake Nerd Podcast, we released 39 episodes this year. That's only down from 41 from last year.
That's impressive.
Yeah, right. Especially because we went bi-weekly for the strikes.
Yeah.
We started the year at episode 309. We're ending the year either at 348 or 349. Cut out one of those, depending if we record another one.
It's
later.
Probably 349.
Yeah. We changed the format twice this year. Once at 336 and once at 345. Those were when we changed the format from being the long kind of 4-hour long nightly podcast to the attempted 2-hour long podcast where we just talk about the news. And then we changed the news format again at 345. Some of the notable things we covered were the James Gunn's new DCU was announced at the beginning of the year. The Mondo layoffs when Funko bought Mondo and just decided to tank that company. Although that seemed to have worked out. Not like great, but it's working out so far. So we'll see.
Still not for the poster market.
Yeah. We've covered a lot of video game layoffs. We covered a lot of layoffs in general. There was a lot of layoffs this year that happened. We covered both the SAG-AFTRA and the WGA strike. That was a big part of the later the year. HBO Max's rebrand happened this year from HBO Max to just Max, where you can watch HBO.
What a year.
We should just call that, Zaslav sucks the year.
Mm-hmm.
We have talked about Zaslav a lot this year. Like
he won't let us stop talking about him because every week it's like, I'm gonna do something stupid.
Yeah. It's impressive. Dragon Ball
We shit on him
Daima.
last year during the holiday annual. We'll shit on him now.
And we'll shit on him until he finally takes his pension and golden parachutes out of the crumbling wreckage that is Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Daima was announced this year. We talked about that. Really excited for that show. Dave Filoni. Melissa Barrera was more recently. We talked about her firing from the Scream franchise. Speaking of Scream,
we have an update. We have a quick update.
The rumor,
yeah.
Spyglass tried to reach out to her, and she said, "Go fuck yourselves."
No, so the full rumor, if it's true,
I don't believe that though.
It's really tasty if it's true.
Yeah.
Which is that she said, "Pay for a flight for me to come to a meeting," and she walked into the meeting, and they said, "We want you to come back," and she said, "No thanks, bye."
I want that to be true, but like I don't think she would give them the time of day at this point. But if it is true, girl, you a legend.
Yeah.
You're a legend.
That's incredible.
I hope we get clarification on if that's true, because if that's true, that's legit incredible.
Yeah.
And then we've talked about a lot of famous people who passed away this year. But some of the notable ones were Ray Stevenson, which really took us by surprise. Lance Reddick once again took us by surprise, and Arlene Sorkin, the voice of Harley Quinn. And plenty more that I just
recently, I think just the Andre Braugher is, I think, worth a throw in as well. That's also one of the big blows, and fresh, but like, yeah.
And as of now, we haven't recorded that, so I didn't have that here. But yeah, hopefully by the time this airs, we'll have.
Sure.
Fake Nerds Watch. We did 50 episodes of Fake Nerds Watch. That's down only 3 episodes from last year's 53.
Well, they're not all out yet.
That's true. I was updating this till this morning.
Yeah.
So this is up until now. Notable event happened. We launched the audio feed for Fake Nerds Watch. That was exciting. That's doing really well. We covered The Last of Us with Pi Geron, Willow, Star Trek Picard with Cookie, The Mandalorian, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Secret Invasion, Ahsoka, Invincible, Doctor Who with Xander Hake, Star Trek Lower Decks with Xander Hake and Travis Alexander, Monarch Legacy of Monsters, and Loki Season 2.
Yeah.
We covered Ben and I covered Willow.
We did.
I'm not over Willow. I'll never be over Willow. I'm crushed. You guys joined me. Sparks and Ryan joined me for Strange New Worlds. It was really fun. I'm glad we got to do that.
That was fun.
Star Trek Picard. I miss Cookie. Star Trek Picard was so much fun to cover. Basement Arcade. Basement Arcade is very exciting because we did 38 episodes of Basement Arcade, which is up from last year's 10.
Yeah. Man, we crushed it in the Spooktober season.
Yes.
It's my favorite time of year. I love playing games with my homies. It's all I want to do.
Of those 38 episodes, 23 of them were Spooktobers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, this is the first year where I feel like we entered with like ambitions for Spooktober and actually met them.
Yeah.
Last year, Spooktobers were only 4 of the Basement Arcades.
Yep.
And this year, so non-Spooktober, you guys did, you and Ryan, Sparks and Ryan did Steam Next Fest, a couple of episodes of the Steam Next Fest things.
All those games are out now.
That was fun.
Yep.
I'm glad we did.
You guys, Grace and Norman joined you guys for TMNT Shredder's Revenge.
That was such a good time.
Great game.
Mortal Kombat X released its final episode this year.
Yeah.
Will we record Mortal Kombat 1? Probably not.
But we did release Mortal Kombat 11.
We did.
That was all released this year. There's 1 episode of KO City out. Can't wait for more.
Yep. We got some Basement Arcade stuff banked. We got some Basement Arcade stuff that's planned. I'm looking forward to it. That's great because that stuff is so nice to just kind of like, I play with my homies and we got it and there it is.
Spider-Man 2, Sparks and Ryan, you guys did the first hour of Spider-Man 2. Episode that did very well for us. Ryan, you did Daredevil, the PlayStation 2 Daredevil game.
Cool. That's a fake game. That's not a real game anymore. That was so cool that people were like, I found some files. Let's give it to everybody. I'm like, thank you for the service.
Yeah.
As far as these Spooktobers go, I'm just going to read them out. Dead Space, Dark Deception, Tall Poppy, Super Dark Deception, Alan Wake, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, Fortnite, Five Nights at Freddy's Prop Hunt, Evil Dead the Game, Choo Choo Charles, The Last of Us, Phasmophobia, and Dead by Daylight.
Oh, yeah.
What a good time.
Yeah. Love getting back into Dead by Daylight. I did the the Xenomorph this year. That was fun.
Chucky is the newest killer, and he is by far the coolest. I think the coolest killer they've ever added. He is straight up just like a 1 foot tall doll. I cannot wait to eventually play that guy and murder you guys.
I'm really glad we got to do Dead Space.
Yeah,
that was such a treat.
It's a damn good game, and like maybe the best like remake of all time. Honestly, it's an exceptional piece.
It was really fun to play.
Moving on to Basement Arcade pause menu. Notable milestone. Ben, congratulations on 50 episodes. You made 50 episodes this year.
Yay!
Well, no, you didn't make. You didn't make 50 episodes this year. You've reached episode 50.
Okay.
That's almost more than a year. That's crazy.
With a little help from his friends.
With my friends.
You did 24 episodes this year, which was up from 16 last year. Now, I did send you the list of all of what you did. Did you want to talk about any of these people or these quarterlies or things like that?
I want to talk about 2 episodes I did with people in general. Well, the first one was with Ryan Payne from the Gamers Week podcast. He came on, and as you guys know, I love their show, and just to have him on to talk about video game history was really fun, and really, it was just fun to just talk about fun stuff that a subject in a very niche thing that we love. It was just fun to talk about it with him. But also the other one I want to talk about was with Gabe Durham, who is the editor-in-chief of Boss Fight Books. That was a very insightful episode of how Boss Fight Books, they go through the thing. And I told him after the show, but I'm also going to tell you guys, I'm planning to put a pitch into Boss Fight because there's a game I want to write about, and that it might tie into my Christmas wish this year. Who knows? Which you guys will know in maybe 10 minutes. But if you ever seen Boss Fight Books at, say, like a gaming convention or a independently owned bookstore, and you want to just know about how do video game books like Boss Fight Books get made in general, definitely check that episode out. It's very insightful, and also it's just a fun time to talk to talk video games with them.
Of these, you did 2 reviews. 2 video game reviews: God of War Ragnarok and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. God of War Ragnarok was a topic on the Fictor podcast in the beginning of the year.
One of them should still come out before the end of the year.
I was going to ask. I was like, I don't even know if that came out, but
it did not.
The answer is no.
Which came out? Which didn't come out?
Jedi.
Oh, Jedi hasn't come out yet. PS, the showcase from the PlayStation Showcase from May 2023 was also a Fake Nerd podcast topic that was put on the Basement Arcade pause menu. But I'm surprised, Ben, you didn't mention what is the most viewed video that we released this year. Now, not our most viewed video ever. That's still Black Adam.
Thank you, Dwayne.
But the most viewed video of the year was your episode with Orbology.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Okay. So
that was our most viewed of the year.
You know what? Yeah. I want to talk about that for a hot second, because how that episode came to be is one of my favorite things to do, and also the most nerve-wracking thing to do when I'm on, when I'm doing episodes for Basement Arcade Pause Menu and getting guests on. Is I saw an episode of hers on YouTube, like one of her videos just randomly popped up, and I liked what she had to say. This was around the time, or this was way after the Nintendo, the 3DS eShop closure and everything. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to shoot her. Okay, she has a Twitter, she has an Instagram. It's like, you know what? I'm just going to shoot her a DM, see if she'll respond, see if she wants to talk about this more on her show. And she did. And it was fantastic to have her on, just to talk, not just to talk about collecting for the 3DS, but also to talk about the system and handheld gaming in general. And when things line up like that, even when I message people or email them, because I find them via social media or they're a bigger personality on YouTube, it's like, I want to talk to this person about this subject in the video games that they obviously have a lot of knowledge in. It's a little nerve wracking because it's like, we're a small show, and and we are, all of us are small creators, but it's just like, yeah, sure, I'll come on and let's chat about this. This is going to be a fun time. And it really was a fun time.
All right. We'll move on to Fake Nerd Book Club. Before we changed the format of the podcast, we did a total of 24 book clubs within the episode within Fiction Podcast. Some of the notable ones, because 24 we did a lot. Some of the notable entries were Killer Be Killed, Kaiju Number 8, Transformers Shattered Glass, The Variants, American Born Chinese, Exterminators, and Secret Invasion.
Anime fans out there, there's a new trailer for the Kaiju Number 8 adaptation out now.
Yeah. I really love talking about Transformers Shattered Glass. I'm so upset that Shattered Glass Part 2 is not on trade because IDW lost the license for that. I really want to read it. Yeah, these Exterminators, by the way, Ryan, the Exterminators end this year?
Oh, did it end? That's a good question. I don't know if it was late last year or early this year.
I'm pretty sure it ended this year.
It was only a 5-issue miniseries.
I'm pretty sure I looked this up because it's in my top 15 contentions.
Yeah. It is in mine as well. All right. So the 20. So then there's 20. There's more there. But then we launched the show. So we did 14 episodes of the Fiction Book Club podcast, which is up from last year's one, which was just my interview with Ryan Parrott. Those were Star Trek Discovery, Aftermath of Travis Alexander, Ultimate Comics, The Ultimates Volume 1, The Republic is Burning, which was Ryan's pick. Shield Volume 1, Architects of Forever, which is my pick. 20th Century Men, Sparks' pick.
You want to talk about a good comic, you guys? Oh my god! Oh my god!
Star Trek: The Mirror Universe Saga with Andy Palacides, that's a really good book. I really enjoyed doing that. Unbelievable Gwenpool Volume 1, Believe It, which is Ben's pick. We finished Wasted Space, guys. Volume 4 and Volume 5, we did Wasted Space. Bittersweet, I gotta say. I missed that book already. Taskmaster: The Rubicon Trigger, Ryan's pick. Marvel Zombies vs. the Army of Darkness, my pick, unfortunately. Halloween, Sparks' pick. Excellent book. Really enjoyed that one. Did that come out this year?
Yes.
Ooh, maybe that's on my top 15 as well.
Ooh.
Miles Morales, The Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 1 Revival, Ben's pick. And then we started Scott Pilgrim's Precious Little Life and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. We doubled those two up as one episode to begin a Scott Pilgrim discussion. And then finally, Doctor Doom. Speaking of It's a Wonderful Life, Doctor Doom Volume 1 Pottersville and Doctor Doom Volume 2 Bedford Falls.
I was going to say, we've experienced multiple It's a Wonderful Life riffs in the last couple of weeks. Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah. So that was just kind of a taste of what the new Fiction Book Club format is going to be going forward. So stay tuned for more next year.
I know that we've slowed down because we're not doing the week to week rotations to be part of the regular podcast, but I find the quality of our conversations about the comics have improved.
I agree.
I'm personally very happy with them.
Same.
And I think we are mixing in when we're doing the rotational runs now. So things like Wasted Space and Scott Pilgrim, as you said, but I feel like the consistency of doing both of those things is now higher up than doing week to week on the 10 to 15 minutes we would talk about a comic every week.
Yeah.
And then never returning to the runs, which is what had been happening. So I'm very pleased, I think, with where book club's at. I'm enjoying having that freedom and still keeping us engaged with comics.
Were any of these, did you guys want to talk about any of these specifically that stood out to you? I know, Ryan, you really like 20th Century Men.
I think it is not just the best comic of the year. I think it is one of the best comics in the last couple years. It's so real. It's able to be a cool sci-fi book, but challenge you in the ways that a lot of media just simply doesn't. And we do a lot of superhero shit. I mostly pick Marvel books, one because Marvel's my main squeeze, but also Marvel Unlimited makes it easy to pick literally any comic that's ever come out from Marvel in the last 60 years.
So true.
But 20th Century Men is it's like the Oppenheimer of comic books. It's real world shit that's mixed with really great sci-fi. It's just it is. I think about that book all the time. That is definitely in my top.
And
I
think it's become all the more interesting as this back half of our global stuff going on has developed. It's really interesting to look back at that book in particular. I'll only highlight that I think it's been great that we've gotten feedback from writers for the comics we've talked about has been really cool. I've really appreciated that. I think that has been a benefit of us moving the book club out of the main show. We are talking about it more. And so we're giving more love to it, putting more attention on it, and I think creators are responding to it.
Yeah.
The writer for 20th Century Men, obviously Marisi, and Halloween all kind of retweeted our episodes.
Yeah.
Really love that. I'm really glad that, and the artist for 20th Century Men.
Yeah, he follows me, and I'm sorry, bro. You're gonna unfollow me soon. I just post dumb shit. Like, thank you for the support, but like, it's silly.
I'm really glad that we're expanding the book club stuff. That makes me feel really good.
Yeah.
And there have been some numbers on the archive releases, and I'm just glad that those are going out there too, because I think that's useful.
Yeah. By the way, these numbers don't reflect the archives. That was just too much to do for me, but
no, I mean, like in the archives I'm glad that I'm going through and doing it. I had to slow down rather than doing it every week. But I'm glad that our stuff is going to be out there separately.
Yeah.
I really like doing the Star Trek ones. Hopefully I can pick them back up. I need a new co-host, unfortunately. But the only one I really didn't like doing was Marvel Zombies versus the Army of Darkness. Obviously, I skipped 20th Century Men and Scott Pilgrim. But I will catch up on the next Scott Pilgrim, obviously.
Yes.
But yeah, I really enjoyed doing all these. These were a lot of fun.
Ben, any book club thoughts?
I'm just glad that I don't know if this is self-serving or not selfish, but self-serving. I'm just glad you guys like the Unbelievable Gwenpool, because I picked that.
I really like that book.
Because I just watched a video about it from Comic Strike, and I thought, okay, I'll give this book a shot, because Gwenpool's been around Marvel's text for a while, was a joke, and then became a character. And it's like, and also I just love Gooey Hero's art. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, 100%.
And importantly, like, I think that we do a good job. Just to talk about us for a moment, I think we do a good job of trying to be fair and trying to meet a thing on its level when even it's a comic we don't like, and we try to find the things that are valuable about it and why we're bouncing off of it. And sometimes it's just like we are reading at a different point in time of when it was written, and like those things just don't connect anymore.
Yeah.
Or we're not at the age or whatever. But I never want, this is the thing, I don't want anyone to feel like anything they pick is ever necessarily just like a bad pick. Like, it's valuable for us to read things that we are going in with no knowledge, and you don't have to know that you're picking something that's going to be a hit.
Yeah.
Like, we're trying to broaden our knowledge of comics and experience new things. And sometimes they don't resonate with us, and that's okay.
It's true.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that was my case with 20th Century Men. It just didn't resonate with me, which is why I decided to skip that episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, it also kind of gave us the opportunity to be like, well, if this doesn't work for me and I don't have anything that I want to say about it, then I don't have to be on that episode.
Right.
Which was helpful.
Yeah.
Well, moving on then to Animation Station, which released, actually, hold on, maybe 11 episodes, but I say 12 here. I think I accidentally counted Cyberpunk Edgerunners, which was released at the end of last year.
Sure.
As the one that was released this year. But we did do Cyberpunk Edgerunners. That was at the end of last year that was released. But this year we did a review on Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, the beginning of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, Star Wars Visions Volume 1. Ben and I did all the Digimon Adventure Tri films and Digimon Adventure Last Evolution Kazuna. That was a lot of fun, Ben.
That was
a lot of fun.
That was so much fun. I finally saw and sat down all the Digimon movies, and I'm like, finally, I did it. I've had these DVDs and Blu-rays for years, and now I've finally seen them all. And
guys, if you ever want to watch those Digimon movies, skip Tri. Just watch Kazuna. It doesn't matter. Tri doesn't matter. Which sucks, but that is the case. And then Sonic Prime. Ben and Sparks did Sonic Prime.
Yep, and we'll have another season of that, and we'll return to Moon Girl. There's all kinds of animation stations that are in
Puss in
the
Boots.
ether.
Puss in Boots unfortunately came out last year, but we did the review of it on the Animation Station this year. Great discussion I had with you, Sparks. It was awesome.
That was fun.
Star Wars Visions Volume 1, 2. We never got to do Visions Volume 2, which is unfortunate, but
no, we were aiming for it, and then the strikes happened, and then we got busy.
Yeah, hopefully we can go back to it. I haven't yet watched it, but I assume I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
This year, big milestone, we launched Fake Nerd Cinephiles, which were originally we released them as review specials. So this year, so last year as review special, we only did 3,000 Years of Longing and Nope as review specials. This year, this is where it gets a little tricky in my numbering, because most of our cinephiles were topics that were put out as separate episodes, and then we switched the format, and then they just became episodes on their own. So so most of these topics. So I'm just gonna run through this. Stop me if you want to talk about a movie, because I'm sure we all remember talking about Jung-E at the beginning of the year.
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ben has the reaction that I expected from him. Yeah, that was their first review, was Jung-E. That was a good one. We did the Scream franchise.
Ben, I don't think was on that episode.
Was I on it? Why do I?
No, you weren't.
No, I'm thinking of something completely different. You're right.
Transformers Shattered Glass, which Ben also was not part of, because I remember, because I was pissed.
Yeah, I forgot about that. We talked about the Scream franchise, every single Scream film.
Well, I'm just gonna. I know what you're doing, Brandon, and I'm gonna interrupt it just because I'm gonna say, it has been so great. I'm so happy that we got to do the Scream franchise, the Indiana Jones franchise, the Mission Impossible franchise, all together. Like what a joy that was this year. I'm grateful we were able to schedule it out. It was Ben's first exposure to 2 of those franchises. What a fun time to have gone through. I'm so glad we committed to the effort. I look back on those movie discussions very fondly. That was a lot of fun for me. And I lament that we didn't get to do Evil Dead in the mix with that this year as we intended, but we will come back to it.
Yeah, Evil Dead is the one that I wish we could have done, but we didn't. We did all the Scream. We did a lot, which I'll go through. But yeah, the Scream franchise, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, We Have a Ghost. That was fun. I like that movie. Cocaine Bear, Shazam: Fury of the Gods, John Wick Chapter 4, Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
I just rewatched that like 2 days ago because I'm still like Baldur's Gate mood, and I'm like, man, that's a damn good movie, y'all.
Yeah. The Super Mario Brothers movie, Renfield. We did do one Evil Dead movie. We did Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah, we did,
which is awesome. Sisu. I forgot we did Sisu.
That's a good. Oh, I forgot about Sisu. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I like that movie a lot. As Sparks already said, we did the Indiana Jones franchise. That was my Scream. I'm very happy we got to do that one, guys. Thank you so much for doing that with me. I love those films. I'm so glad we got to discuss them all. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Fast X, which I was not a part of. Yeah, I wasn't part of that one. Also, I wasn't on Shazam: Fury of the Gods. Mission Impossible franchise, as Sparks already said. We did all the Mission Impossible films. That was so much fun. Man, those movies are good. Those are good movies.
That was a great time.
Spider-Verse, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, The Flash. That's the last like official topic, by the way. The Flash was the last one that we did as a topic. Now we're in just the episodes that were released. We did the Marvels, TMNT Mutant Mayhem.
That's a good one. I love.
Go ahead.
No, I just want to say I still think about going to the movie theater with Ryan to go see Mutant Mayhem. That was such a good time. That was such a good movie.
Oh yeah, that's 100% of my top 15.
Notably, our cinephiles got slowed down too because of the strikes. So like right when we changed the format, also the strikes happened. So we had to be like, all right,
put it in the dock.
It's not the strike's fault, but that was really rough for me. As I've mentioned before, I'll just talk about it a little bit at the end here. I suffered really bad burnout shortly after we changed our format, and that was really difficult for me. Partially because the strikes prevented what we could talk about. Just things just kind of fell to the wayside, but still. TMNT Mutant Mayhem, Haunted Mansion, a movie that I quite liked. By the way, The Marvels, great movie. People who don't like it are wrong. Five Nights at Freddy's, speaking of. Then the last movie we did, before we talked about It's a Wonderful Life, was, I think, the only movie that we gave all 10s to this year, which was Godzilla -1.
Yeah.
which is the only movie we gave all 10s to, which I think is incredible. They keep adding more screens, more theaters. It's in 2,600 theaters now, and I'm like, damn, that's a whole cost.
Well, hold on, real quick. I just need to interject. Ben, would you have given it a 10?
He did. Yeah, we read it out.
I did.
Oh, we read it out. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Then yeah.
Yeah,
it's
of
10.
course I give it a 10.
Well,
That movie was
like,
amazing.
I know Mutant Mayhem would have been all 10s, except Brandon didn't go 10 on Mutant Mayhem.
I gave it a 9.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy also, I think we mostly just gave it 9s.
Yeah.
I missed one.
It's a great movie. It's not my favorite Guardians movie.
I missed one. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny isn't on.
Oh,
this
I
list.
intentionally forgot it.
Well, we said Indiana Jones franchise.
That's
It
true.
was there.
But it was. Yeah. Okay, you're right. And I didn't say Mission Impossible 7. So yeah, because of that, Scream said, yeah, you got me. Yeah. So those are all the movies we reviewed this year. A lot of them are really great. I really liked doing that. Like Cocaine Bear, and we have a Ghost were just fun, good times that I really enjoyed doing. Talked about the Indiana Jones franchise and Godzilla -1 being the one that we had the all 10s for. The coming in at the end of the year. Incredible.
And obviously, like when this releases, there's probably other cinephiles out because there will have been Aquaman 2. We have plans for a couple of others. So,
man,
you know, it is what it is.
I'm going to then go to Conversation. I'm going to skip a page real quick. Then I'm going to go to Conversation and just kind of wax poetically a little bit. So far, only 10 episodes of season 2 have been released. That's up from the 0 from last year. But there's 3 episodes left that I have to release. I'm really sorry that they aren't out yet. I'd like to believe that by the time this episode airs, they are. I know myself, they're not. But I hope to have them out soon. Again, burnout is real, guys. It's tough. It really affects a lot of shit. But just thank you to my guests, Karis Lunn from the Journey into Fandom podcast, Kyle Andre from the Dragon Ball Super Dope podcast, Sean Farrick from Trek Culture, Cookie from Just a Little Podcast. Congratulations on your child again. I've said it all year, but you seem very happy. Ken Knapsack from Force Center once again. Rachel Strange from the Narrative Labyrinth. Rachel, I'm there whenever you want me back. The whole cast of Dan Dark, which was really fun to do. Travis Bowe from the Real Comic Heroes podcast, Mark Reed from the Creative Psychopaths podcast, Al Larson from the movies that move us. I will respond to you again. I know you want me on your show. I'll respond to you. Coming up, Kit Marie Rackley, Ryan Eliopoulos, my co-host here, and Nathan Marchand are the last 3 episodes to be released. So there you go. There's your exclusive.
Ooh, hot scoops.
All right. Fun fact about this year, this is the first year in a long time that we've released at least 1 episode of every single one of our shows, because we also released 2 episodes of Miscellaneous, 1 episode of The Real Score, and 2 specials. Miscellaneous had 2 episodes. The 2 episodes of Miscellaneous were just 2 things that I wish I could blame burnout for that one, but that was just the Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny like really upsetting me. So I did not get to finish the Top Men files that we call it, which is
well, it's also we also put it on hold because of the strikes.
Yeah, but like that was an excuse. Like it was mostly because Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny like hurt me.
Sure.
Well, that's a bummer, man. Like, cause like I like Indiana Jones, but like not as much as you guys. It's like there's a lot of franchises to care about. Yeah. This one looked like it was going to be a banger, and it wasn't, and that really sucks. It's still like I will Stockholm myself into liking this movie. It's on Disney Plus now, and I'm going to do it. But like right now, like I'm not there. It's still too fresh.
But yeah, so Miscellaneous had those 2 episodes. I will come back to it next year. I intend to write those last 3 episodes and Crusade, the last 3 episodes and talk about those. The Real Score, we had recorded other episodes, but they haven't been released yet. So the only one released right now is the Batman, which was our inaugural episode, which is a great show. I'm really happy we were able to release the Real Score, which is our new show, our freshman show, and that was really cool. Sparks, you want to say anything about the Real Score?
Sure. I love it. I'm really happy about it. It, especially the first few episodes, due to audio recording differences, because Brandon and I are pretty familiar with our audio stuff and in sync because we do this all the time, but Jeremy was not. So there was so much audio disparity that there was a lot of work I had to do in post, which slowed down the first 3 episodes. So, and then the strikes happened. So it ultimately turned into, I'm just gonna push all this back. We'll just go hard next year, and like we'll be ahead of the game. Because at that point, and like we were doing so much in the back half of this year to keep up with the strike stuff and all that other stuff that we had to wrap up on the other shows. And I was like, let's just kick that one back. Just the way circumstances needed it to be. But I love it.
Yeah, I do too. We've talked about a new format going forward, which will be the next one we record probably next year. We'll record that one. So
yeah, I don't expect us to record until next year.
Yeah. The 2 specials that we released were a Phase 4 ranking with Mike Mottola.
I missed that, man.
Yeah,
me too. We tried to get him on a few times this year, but we just couldn't make it work with schedules. But hopefully next year we have him back on. But yeah, we ranked all of Phase 4 with him. He had some great takes as always. And then our annual, our kind of year anniversary, we did a D&D podcast with Paigeron as our dungeon master.
That was fun.
Oh yeah.
And our most viewed videos of the year, our most viewed episodes of the year, were our Ben's 3DS Talk with Orbology at number 1. Strange New Worlds episode 10, Fake Nerds Watch, was number 2. The Batman episode of The Real Score was number 3, and the Ark of the Covenant episode of Miscellaneous was number 4. But still, none of them reached Black Adam, The Matrix, or Avatar: The Way of Water.
Yeah.
Or Wakanda Forever, right?
Or Wakanda Forever, yes.
Those are our big ones, yeah.
Which is wild.
Nothing's going to be Black Adam ever.
No, 16K.
I don't know why.
Listen, the world was ready for a hired power of hierarchy, and they needed to know how bad is this movie. And as Ben said it right at the beginning. It's mid.
That's why people love it. They get in immediately. Ben's like, it's mid, and they're like, solid.
Cool.
All of our episodes be 15-second reviews. That's what we're hearing.
In total, last year we released 128 episodes. This year we released 228 episodes.
We're over 800 videos on our channel, and like we started as only an audio podcast, so like that's mostly because of your editing too. Like we put out so much shit. It's crazy.
In all formats, like we released a lot of these have audio feeds to them as well. I didn't double that number because they're the same episode. It doesn't include the archive stuff that Sparks was putting out. The Fake Nerds Watch audio feed was releasing previous season episodes to like Strange New Worlds or Loki, things like that. Didn't count those obviously because those were from prior years. But yeah, it was an insane year for us. Look, I already said I suffered I suffered a burnout I had never felt before. I frequently feel burnout just in my everyday life, but this was different. This put me at 0. I was at 0 and I'd never been there before. And it was a real struggle. I'm not fully recovered. I'm a recovering burnout addict. I'm a recovering burning out person, I guess. But it was really fun to kind of go back through our accomplishments as it was last year to just kind of see like, look at all the cool stuff we did. Look at all these discussions we had, these fun discussions we had, these great movies we talked about, these great shows we talked about. Sparks, I'm so glad we got to talk about Doctor Who. And we have one more episode left to record, 2 more episodes technically. That was so great to do. Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, so much fun. Invincible, so much fun. These games are Chaos City died this year. And I got to play it with my friends one last time and record them. And you guys are going to be able to see those episodes. And that's really great. Ben put out almost 10 more episodes as far as Basement Arcade goes. You guys did 3 quarterlies, by the way, 3 quarterlies in 2023, 4 if you count your 2022 Q4 quarterly. So
right. Yeah, our Q4 usually spills over into the next year just a little bit as far as like release and recording. And I'm sure it'll be true this year as well.
Yeah.
So book club, lots of book club stuff. I was so grateful that Ben did Digimon Adventure Try. I could not join you guys for the first Moon Girl episode, but you're damn sure I will be there for the next one. Hell yeah, baby. Yeah, man. Lots of fun things, lots of fun discussions, guys. If you missed any one of these, go through our channel, check them out, find the ones you missed. There's so much. They're a lot of fun to talk about. There's a lot of great movies, a lot of great shows, a lot of great video games that we talked about, a lot of great discussions that are all there. So easy for you guys to find. Please check them out. That's our year in review. What do you guys think?
Click away.
Anyone else have any thoughts about the podcast stuff that Brandon just took us through?
No, I didn't realize we put like almost 100 more episodes out this year than last year. That's bananas.
Yeah. That is absolutely nuts. I didn't think I thought I felt, honestly, looking back, I was like, man, I didn't do as much Basement as I thought I did. And then Brandon's like, hey, you're up episodes. I'm like, I am. That doesn't feel right, but okay.
You have stuff banked still, or are you done?
I don't have any pause menus banked. I have a guest who's ready to record. It's just that when the day we decided to record, stuff came up. And we're probably going to start recording next year. So I just need to start reaching out more. I'm waiting until after the new year to start reaching out more to ask people if they want to be on pause menu.
Sure. Right. Who knows what the next year will be? We might not put out as many episodes. We might put out less. We might put out more. Who knows what that's going to be? I'm not going to speculate here. I'm not even going to say stay tuned for something that we're really excited about, because who the hell knows if it's going to happen. I will say that next year we're going to be dealing with another change in the form of, I'm just going to say it, Sparks, you are going to be taking a step back, not leaving, but you will be taking a step back from the podcast. And we're going to miss you. I love you. I love talking to you about these sort of things. And I'm deeply sad, but happy for this change in your life.
Yeah, I wasn't going to bring it up at this point in the podcast, but I was going to talk about it in this special. So I'm going to be a dad. Brandon spoiled just last week on the podcast. But
why do you tell me anything?
I am going to be a father, and that changes life. So I'm taking a step back. There are certain things that I know I'm going to stay involved in. Any like big annual event kind of thing. So like when you guys get back to the anniversary, like, you know, I'm going to be there. Real Score is a passion project that's new, and I don't want it to die. And it's designed to be once a month. So that's what I'm going to be consistent on. Anything past that is kind of like, we'll see. I have certain things that we're in the middle of, or we're cooking right now, that like I'm intending to see to the end, regardless of like how long it takes to get to the end of them. And those things I'll be around for. And anything beyond that is like, you're definitely not going to see me on the weeklies for a while.
Babies.
For the main podcast, you will maybe see me on some Fake Nerd Watches. You'll definitely see me on a Cinephile when like I really need to be there for one. But everything else is like, you know, it's in the gravy. We'll see what happens. Fake Nerd Book Club is maybe the one that's going to be the hardest for me to leave, if I'm being honest, to take a step back from, because I don't want to hold up the rotations. So I want you guys to keep going, but I can't guarantee that I can always make it into the rotation. So I got to take a step back from that. And that makes me sad, because I love having a reason to keep up on the comics. So expect that I'm going to try to read what you guys pick, and at least be aware.
You got a baby one hand and the iPad in the other.
You know, it's manageable for like a few months.
Yeah.
And then at a certain point, it'll stop being that.
Yeah.
So life changes, life shifts, but I'll always be around, and I'm going to be behind the scenes still helping you guys coordinate things. I'll still be occasionally editing some things, so I'm going to be kind of prepping Ryan to take over some of the duties for me.
Duties.
Yeah. Yeah. Sparks, Sam. Fuck it. I've known you for a really long time, and you're my best friend. And I'm very happy that this. I don't think I've actually told you in person, mainly because I hate spilling my emotions. But like, so happy that you're finally getting your dream, your lifelong dream of having a family, having a kid. You've talked about very little else since we were kids.
That's not true. We have literally hours of talking about other
I'm just saying that this is something that's been very important to you.
True.
And not something that I can relate to, because it's not something that I want, but it's something that you've wanted. And you're getting it, and I'm very happy for you. But selfishly, I'm going to miss you, because I love doing the show with all of you guys, and I love doing the show with you. There's a speech that I often think about in Star Trek Nemesis in the beginning, which is a joke that none of you are going to get, even though we've all watched the damn movie together. which is at the beginning of the episode, at the beginning of the movie, Picard is giving a speech to Riker, his number one, and he's saying like, have you guys thought about what you're going to do to me? Because Riker's leaving. He's leaving. He's getting married and he's leaving on the Titan. He's going to be the captain of the Titan. He's leaving the Enterprise. And like, that's how I feel. I feel like I'm Picard losing my Riker.
Why are you doing this to me? Yeah.
And that's the joke. It's like, because he's happy that his two best friends are getting married, but like, now I got to train a new number one and Data. That's more of the joke. That's more of the fucking movie. But like, I'm happy for you. I'm going to miss you. That's what this episode has become. Just me telling you how much I love you.
I love you too. Obviously, like, it's a lot of hours both doing these recordings and doing the editing for it, and I do it because I love it. And I love doing this with you guys and being part of these conversations. And like, the audiences might not hear from me about all these things as often, but I will always be in conversation with you guys. Like, I'm not going anywhere for you guys. We're still friends. We're still connected, and you're still going to be hearing from me in the text threads and everything. And I think that's
like like when you have the baby, like the switch isn't going to flip. Like, I hate nerd shit now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
You guys are still core for me of where I'm going to want to talk about these things. And when I can be involved, I'm going to want to be involved, even if it's not me being directly on the show. So you three aren't going to have me gone in as much a capacity as the audience is. And that's important to me.
I'll just do what they do on the It's Always Sunny podcast is they have a giant inflatable doll of Glenn Howerton. When he's not on, he just sits there. And
to be fair, like, we have a really nice advantage that every once in a while, what it'll be is that, Ryan will probably be here and he'll be doing a thing, and it'll be like, I'll have 20 minutes and I'll come in and I'll be like, hello, I also have thoughts, and then I will leave.
You're like a special guest in a TV show, like the door opens, woo, like Kramer.
But it's weird, but like, this is one of my favorite things to do, so I'm not going to be gone completely. I encourage you guys to chase the things that you want to talk about and are passionate about in my absence. Find the things that gravitate to you and go for them. And you guys, with my support, we can always work out whatever we're going to schedule. So yeah.
We got a lot more to do for the episode. Well, not a lot more to do for the episode, but a little bit more. I'll just say, in the coming months, and in the coming year, we've got things we want to do. We've got movies and games and shows we want to talk about. Who knows how much of that will happen? Who knows? Maybe all of it, maybe none of it. Certainly some of it. So stay tuned for a lot of cool things in the new year. There's one project.
I certainly hope not none of it.
Yeah. There's specifically something that I really want to do. Who knows if it'll happen? It's a big undertaking, and I'll tell you guys about it off air.
Sure.
But that'll be my tease that maybe something really big will happen next year.
Maybe I can get you guys to play more video games, but I'm not holding my breath.
There's always Grayson.
Sure, but like, you guys are my friends that I want to do stuff with.
Yeah. That's how I feel about like doing the Cinephiles without you guys. Like, you guys are I like doing this with you guys.
Yeah.
One thing I will say about next year, because we are losing Sparks and because there's more things we want to do, we're probably going to reach out to our friends and outside the podcast to come on and help us do things that things would normally kind of get in the way or not be able to do. So maybe you'll see more like special guests in the coming year. So
we're entering like the Office era when Michael Scott leaves, and we're just like, oh, Donna Noble's here now, and I called her Donna Noble. That's not her name. Catherine Tate and Idris Elba will show up. So I'm like, yeah.
Okay, we got more to do for the rest of the special. Sparks, I'll hand it back to you.
Pulling the lens away from all that. Biggest surprises of the year. You guys got any?
Yeah, I got a few. I know I just talked a lot, but hey, why not? Because I've got some. Hold on, let me get the page back.
I'll knock mine out first, just real quick. And it's the combined efforts of Barbenheimer, Barbie and Oppenheimer. Both movies I love Christopher Nolan and I like Greta Gerwig, but I was excited to see those movies, but I wasn't expecting both of them to be incredible pieces of art, especially Barbie. Barbie really is a surprising movie. The movie's not what you think it is if you're just looking at it from the surface. And then Oppenheimer, I think, is Nolan's best movie, and I think it's now my favorite Nolan movie, which used to be Interstellar. I think he's had ups and downs, but like Oppenheimer is like his magnum opus. I think it is like an astounding piece of media. I still think it's not a horror movie. It still has the most horrifying sequence in a movie this year, and it's when he's talking to all those people and the stomping is happening. Like I think about that all the time. So like, I didn't know you had it in you, Chris. You did it, and like in Barbie, you rule. So like, it's Barbenheimer.
Oppenheimer is a film I've thought about nonstop since watching it, and I pretty stubborn and still think my favorite Nolan is The Prestige.
It's great,
but like I think you might be right. I think it actually might be Oppenheimer.
Yeah. I think in just terms of like movie making, I think he's just firing on every single cylinder. Like whether it's acting or cool special effects, that a lot of it are practical. Like so much great stuff.
Yeah, it's haunting. It's a haunting movie,
and it's real, which makes it doubly like feel like, oh my god, this is like all real shit. Like we got the records of these people saying this shit.
As far as movies go, I got two I want to mention, which are Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves and A Haunting in Venice. I thought both of those films were very surprising. I did not think they would be as good as they are. A Haunting in Venice especially took me by surprise because of how bad Death on the Nile was.
Sure.
So coming into that film and being like, wow, I think you just made the best Poirot film. Holy shit.
Yeah, I agree. Like I wasn't on that review, but I quite like that movie. And like I don't like I didn't see Death on the Nile just because I heard it was bad. And again, I'm trying to avoid bad movies in my life. But I don't particularly care for the first one either. It's not bad. It's just like I don't want to watch middling movies either. So like the fact that he failed twice and will still give it another chance. Thank God this one was good. Because if this one was bad, I'd be like, please stop letting white men fail upwards. Please. Thank God that movie is good. And it's like actually spooky. Like just, man, where was this, Kenneth? Where was it? I love it.
He did what was the movie he did in between Death on the Nile and Haunting in Venice? It was that black and white film with Judi Dench. This kind of like really personal, kind of like critically well received, like Oscar bait movie that people loved, which he took the money to do A Haunting in Venice because like that's his passion project.
Yeah, one for them, one for us, absolutely.
Which is really funny. But Dungeons and Dragons, go ahead.
It's really funny that Poirot is Kenneth Branagh's Riddick.
Yes. Yes.
Lord.
Yeah, 100%. Oh my god, do you think we're finally getting that fourth Riddick film this year?
I'll never believe it till there's a trailer.
Yeah, with Vin, he can talk all he wants. He says that we're getting a Last Witch Hunter sequel, and that's like one of the worst movies ever made. So
he says that there are two more Fast films, and like we've never heard of further clarification.
We still don't know if that's an actual trilogy or not. He just said some shit.
We still don't know when they're filming.
Yeah.
Supposedly, there's 2 more Fast films plus a Hobbs spin-off movie.
Yeah.
So whatever. Then I'll say Shin Japan Heroes, which I mentioned up top, was a big surprise. Like holy shit! Like I never thought I'd see a mech like that again. I'd already mentioned it before. My final surprise was Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur.
Yeah, which
is a show that looked like a fun kids show on Cartoon Network. Looks like it had a lot of energy to it. I like the animation. I was like, this looks really good. I'm excited for it. But when I tell you that it is probably one of, if not the best animated shows that was released this year, I don't think if you hadn't seen the show, you'd believe me.
Right.
Because that show is truly incredible. There's an energy to it unlike any other show. It is wickedly funny. The music in it is incredible. There's a musical number every episode. Yeah. The cast is great. The all the new villains that are in the show are great. One of my favorite interpretations of The Beyonder. It's an incredible show. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. You guys already did the one of the animation stations for it. But it's such a surprising, just like knocked it out of the park TV show that was just on not on my radar, and I'm so glad I watched it.
Yeah, it's one of those shows that like I'm like, oh, Marvel animation, this is what you're capable of. Like, what do we like? Come on, like, can we get more of this? Like, beautiful originality. It's an incredible piece of entertainment, whether you like Marvel or not. But it helps that like it's got that extra nerd factor. And like you said with The Beyonder, like it has such interesting re-representations of characters from the comics, like new adaptation styles that like are just really singular and like really cool. Just super cool.
Yeah. Sparks or Ben?
Moon Girl's in my biggest surprises. I'll say that. Ben, you go ahead. I want to get you.
I was I was gonna talk about Dungeons and Dragons again.
Sure.
Not just the the fact that we knew that they were making a D&D movie. Everyone was like, "Oh no!" Like walking on eggshells. It's like this is probably because the last D&D movie we got was bad, like really bad. And the fact that it was this good and this funny and this heartfelt, it's like, and it still incorporated a lot of D&D stuff. I felt like Honor Among Thieves, like Critical Role, obviously it was like nudging people to get into role playing games like tabletop RPGs, and it was helping Dungeons and Dragons along. And then the movie comes out, and the movie is good, like really good. And now, a lot more people are interested in Dungeons and Dragons now. They're actually Dungeons and Dragons is getting more and more into the mainstream, and I'm like, this is good. This is great. It's not just that.
I think about the scene when the knight just walks off and then just steps on the boulder, steps over the boulder all the time.
Yeah, again, because I literally just rewatched it. That movie holds up so it came out this year, so it doesn't need to hold up. But like rewatching it, like it is infinitely like rewatchable because like every actor is really fun. Like it's the guys who made Game Night, which is arguably the best studio comedy of like the last decade. Like that movie is like infallible in my opinion. And, like this movie is just as good. Like there's not a lot of faults to it. And having just played like over 100 hours of Baldur's Gate 3, there is more D&D. Like it's a weird thing to say, but like there is more D&D in that entire movie than you even think about. The stuff in the background, little things like just little pieces of like art, like spells. There's a Critical Role like fresh cut grass joke. Like it is a real nerd movie, also a great comedy action movie. Like it should not be this good. And like unfortunately, it didn't do like super well at the box office. But like Chris Pine was just saying like, yo, like there could be another one. Who knows? Maybe. Like I really, really hope so.
Me too. But even another scene that kind of lives in my head is like when they're in the cave about to go to Themperchaud's lair, and then the intellect devourers come by and they don't even bother them. They're like, well, that's hurtful. It's like one of those things where they roll too high, and the DM is because there's so many parts of the movie where like one of the hopes was that there would be a lot of fourth wall breaking. Like it is actually a bunch of people at a table playing a game of Dungeons and Dragons. Unfortunately, it's not that. But even though we thought that was going to be a detriment to the movie,
but it has that energy.
Not.
It has the energy of people playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Or even like in the next sequence is like, okay, there's this really elaborate trap, and someone just rolls the nat 1 and touches the lever, and the bridge collapses.
Yeah,
and they're just like, it's just like. I can't tell you, as someone who plays Dungeons and Dragons with the D and Dark cast, how many times we rolled and either myself or anyone in the cast or our dungeon master just takes this deep.
Well, just in the last episode of D and Dark, didn't you have like a moment where everyone's like rolling perception because Dan wants to give you a specific form of information, and nobody rolls high enough? And he just goes, "Well, I'll just have to figure out how to give you that information another way."
Yep.
Yeah. In Baldur's Gate, like that happens. Like just throughout, like you'll walk past something, and it'll go like perception failed, perception failed, perception failed. I'm like, I'm just never gonna know what's here. I guess that sucks. And it's a really fun experience. Like again, like that dice roll determining what you're gonna do is like the best thing about D&D. It's like perfect roll.
Yeah, and you mentioned, I don't know if Ryan, you were going to talk about it because once again, I've yet to play the game, unfortunately. But Baldur's Gate 3, how that blew up, and how it swept the Game Awards and the Golden Joysticks and almost every Game of the Year award that I know of. How that, because everyone thought like come May, it's like, oh yeah, Tears of the Kingdom, it's locked, and then here comes Baldur's Gate 3, and everyone's like, yo, Baldur's Gate 3 though.
Yeah, I'm going to spend so much time talking about Baldur's Gate 3 in our top 15 early next year. But so I didn't put on my list because technically like it's been in early access for 3 years. So a lot of people have been playing the game for a while, but like it was it had like literally 66% of the content missing, and like they were slowly updating it, and like there's a lot of bugs. So like a lot of people knew about Baldur's Gate for the last couple of years, but like when it came out in August, people who tried it were like, oh damn, this is good. And then it's 100 hours of every quest being meaningful and 250 actors giving stellar performances. You know, all the Baldur's Gate people have won all of the like voice acting nominations. Sorry, Spider-Man 2 fans. It's just like it's an incredible feat. And the 1-2 punch of D&D, the movie, and Baldur's Gate is just influencing so many people to give tabletop a try. And it's like, it's really awesome. It's like really cool to see.
Can I say something about Spider-Man 2, the video game, real quickly? About people upset that it didn't win the game awards.
Yeah.
I played that game. I liked that game. I play 2 games a year if that. I knew it wasn't winning, and Baldur's Gate 3 was winning. Like, what are we doing? Who in their right mind ever thought that was going to win against Baldur's Gate 3? As someone who has not played Baldur's Gate 3.
People who only play a certain type of game and don't pay attention
That's
to other
me.
stuff outside.
Well, no, Ben, Brandon, but you have like common sense, and you're not one of those people who you see one, like, let's say you only see one movie of the year. You're not going, because it's the only movie I saw, it is the best movie, which is what a lot of people think. And like, I'm not like Yuri Lowenthal gives a great performance, but like literally there's like 100 people in Baldur's Gate 3 who give just as good a performance. Like side characters are just as important. So like, and that's just a thing of like, y'all just need to like expand your horizons. You know, he gets a great performance, but like, yeah, Baldur's Gate 3, like it's sold incredibly well. It is a hardcore, like truly like the most hardcore old school game ever made. It is point and click as hell. There's so many menus. Like playing on a controller is a little wonky at times because you have literally, I'm not exaggerating, over 500 spells at your disposal. Every spell that's ever been in D&D is in the game to try out. It is almost a nightmare the first couple hours trying to wrap your head around how much you can do. But I'll get into that later. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 is a big surprise for a lot of people who weren't inside, the PC gaming experience.
I think Spider-Man 2 in particular suffers from people going into the year like Spider-Man 2 is going to be the best game of the year, and like Spider-Man 2 is going to be best game of the Spider-Man 2 best game of the year. Like they just commit themselves to that track, so nothing can deviate them from it.
Yeah.
Ben, did you have any other big surprises of the year?
Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah, that's a good point. I love that movie. You're right.
That's on.
We all knew Mutant Mayhem was going to be good. I wasn't expecting it to be that good.
Sure.
So to me, Mutant Mayhem, and I am a Ninja Turtles fan. I will say, like, I like the Ninja Turtles. I wouldn't say I love the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
But coming out of Mutant Mayhem, it's like if I can only consume any other Turtles media, I want it to be like that.
Yeah.
I want to be.
This is the type of movie that makes you a fan. This is the type of movie that makes you a fan of that property. Like it does so many good things. And again, having them be teenagers, actual teenagers for the first time in like ever, is really important, I think, to that movie too.
Yeah, I mean, once again, don't get me wrong. When we got news that we were getting Shredder's Revenge, it's like, oh, it's going back to the old classic beat 'em up style, like of Turtles in Time in the original arcade game. A+, fantastic game, really fun to play, has a lot of really cool Turtle stuff in it, and it brings back the original voice actors. Yay! But you look at Mutant Mayhem, it's like this, like the whole movie is a vibe. The soundtrack is great. The acting is fantastic. The actors are just having an absolute blast. The animation is just whoa. Everything about that just below. I mean, don't get me wrong. Into the Spider-Verse, fantastic. Still top 10. I would still rate Into Spider-Verse above Mutant Mayhem, but I would still put Mutant Mayhem up there with Spider-Verse because of how great the movie was. It's like I love this movie, and I'm actually kind of upset that I haven't seen it again. I know it's on streaming services that I have access to. I want to watch it again. It's just that damn good.
Yeah. For me, and I want to be quick with this because just take it like the Band-Aid I'm ripping off y'all because it's a negative surprise. It's Secret Invasion. The surprise is how truly, utterly awful it was.
The worst thing the MCU's ever made.
One of the things that should have had like a lot of factors going for it, and it landed like the wettest fart I think pop culture has seen in a long time.
Yeah, I'm not saying Secret Invasion is the reason why I got so burnt out. I'm not saying it though.
Yeah, it definitely helps. Definitely.
The thing is like The Marvels is a good movie, and I really like it. And it's really hard for me to look at Secret Invasion and the MCU fans who are like keeping up with it and sit through that and go, I don't know, do I need to go see The Marvels? And I'm like, hard for me to tell you should.
Yeah.
I think they really hurt themselves by like committing to putting that one to screen. That was a mistake.
Word.
And the other one that hasn't been mentioned that I'll say is the absolute annihilative success of Godzilla -1.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. I was hoping it would be a success, but the success that it has become is beyond my wildest dreams.
Godzilla's a phenomenon, making non-Godzilla people suddenly Godzilla people, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
And in tandem with that, Monarch. Like, both things are huge surprises.
Yep.
I almost put Monarch on my surprises, but there were things that surprised me more, and I wanted to keep it low.
Sure.
But yeah, Monarch was almost on that one.
Yeah, both of the turn of events of those have blown me away. So those are in my big surprises.
Hell yeah.
All right. Moving on to another section. This is the time, friends, because when we do our top 15, we are only allowed to talk about the top 15 things that came out within this year. Yep. So, was there anything you engaged with this year that didn't come out this year, but you feel is of note for you?
Oh, yes. I'll start because I watched a show that people have been recommending to me for years because it's like one of the closest like Twin Peaks analogs. And it's a show called Dark on Netflix. It's a German. It is the first German show that was on Netflix because a lot of different countries are now like incorporated into Netflix and have like their own like movies that come out there that get put onto Netflix and stuff. Dark is a murder mystery about kids who are found dead, but some of them are from the past. Including like one of the main characters' brother who went missing 33 years ago. And it is about cycles. It's about loops. It's like about people time traveling 33 years into the future, 33 years in the past. Like that's like it's always about 33 years. And the way that they're able to incorporate multiple timelines, it is one of the most complex shows I've ever watched. Like time travel movies can get a little wonky. This is 3 like hour-long episode seasons of the most insane time travel shit ever. People going back in time, becoming like their own fathers and own grandmothers, like really weird, incredibly strange shit. They go to the future where the apocalypse has happened, so they have to go back in time to prevent the apocalypse. And it's about like, do you cause something to happen because you went back in time, or is it something that's always supposed to happen? Like that kind of cool loop shit. That is the central foundation of like that and breaking the loop, and how like the main bad guy is like, I've been part of this loop for millions of years. There's actually it's called Legion Lost. There's a Legion of Superheroes book that does the same premise basically, but it's about like him trying to break this cycle. And how by trying to break the cycle, you create the knot that is actually part of the loop. And it is so well acted, and it's so dramatic, and it is so weird. It is a phenomenal, it is one of my favorite shows I've ever seen in my life. And I cannot believe it took me this long. It came out in 2017 and then 2020. But I finally watched it, and then a bunch of my friends were like, yeah, isn't that show great? I'm like, yeah, you're right. So if you like crazy murder mysteries, time travel, Twin Peaks stuff, like it is, and it is so good. And do not watch dub, because it's very much like some actors don't fit that some of the voice acting doesn't fit the model. And I just I just want to see what it sounded like. I was originally going to watch it, and I watched it all in German. But man, the German language is like so harsh, and like it just makes the drama so much more real when people are like really sad and dramatic.
You know, I watched the Ip Man films a few years ago. At this point, I went through all the Ip Man films, and I remember I put on Ip Man 3, and it was dubbed for some reason. I didn't ask for it to be dubbed. It was dubbed, and I was like, well, this could be okay if it's Donnie Yen actually dubbing his own voice, but it wasn't. And I'm like, absolutely not. I know what this man sounds like, and I cannot deal with this.
Yeah. Like for animated stuff, I'm more forgiving of that. But like when it's live action, like I try to keep with the subtitles.
Especially,
but man, like
especially because like if you're familiar with like an actor like Donnie Yen, I know what that man's voice sounds like. So if I see that face and that's not the voice coming out of it, it's weird. It doesn't work.
Yeah, it could definitely be jarring. Yeah. So I'm gonna say Dark, and then I have one more, but I'll let you guys go through rotation.
Yeah, Sparks, since you're on the same screen, if you want to go next, you can.
I mean, I have a chunk, so
chunky monkey.
Let me see here how I want to say this.
While you're thinking, I could go because I got a few that I should run through. Well, I'll do one because Ryan did one. So I'll Transformers Shattered Glass. I adore that comic book. I loved it so much. We did it for our book club, as I've already mentioned. It's incredible. It's one of the best Transformers books, period. One of my favorite things about Transformers in more recent years have been what they've been doing with Starscream as a character. This kind of like, not necessarily this niveling bad guy who the kind of Michael Bay version of Starscream, who's just kind of groveling and then will betray Megatron until Megatron looks at him and he's like, oh, Megatron, no. I've talked about like all the time something that is stuck in my head for probably and will be for years, which is the end of the third Transformers show on Netflix, where Starscream has realized the futility of the war between the Autobots and the Decepticons and is trying to stop it because Unicron is coming, and Megatron won't have it, and so he's like being held up by his neck over this like crevice, and Megatron is like threatening him, and he's like, and Starscream just kind of like thinks like, and Starscream having this newfound purpose is like, there's a big difference between you and me, Megatron. I can fly. And then he pushes himself off and like hits Megatron with his jets. And I was like, man, that's an incredible moment for Starscream. And Shattered Glass is just as good. Like Shattered Glass is a great Starscream story. It's a great Transformer story. I highly recommend it if you haven't read it. It is truly one of, if not the best Transformer stories to come out in years.
Hell yeah,
for sure. I'm just gonna name a couple of things and maybe expand a little bit, but like there's some of them we've talked about a lot, or you kind of get the vibe. I don't need to go into it. So The Bear,
sure.
which I got into. It's a great show. It's one of the best shows. So there's that. I watched the entire Rocky franchise, not including the Creed films, for the first time this year.
I wish you watched Creed because all the movies are dope.
I did that too.
Yeah, but you've seen them. That. I have never seen them. So,
well, I mean, I hadn't seen a good chunk of them. I saw the first one and the sixth one. I never saw 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Some are good and some are terrible.
Hey, how good is this? How good is Rocky Balboa though?
Rocky Balboa is pretty good.
I like that movie.
Our Flag Means Death. You've heard about it.
I
watched it for the first time this year and watched the new season. Like, good stuff. The Righteous Gemstones. I am going to pause on this one for a moment. The Righteous Gemstones is a comedy you should be watching. That is a great show. Really, really love
my favorite Walton Goggins performance. He's incredible.
Some of my favorite performances from a lot of the people that are on that show. Maybe not him.
Yeah. Justified.
I might not. Yeah.
No, I know.
Boyd is hard.
No, I know, but like it's a completely different character.
It is totally 100%. It's still an incredible performance.
Yeah.
But like really great stuff. Highly recommend the Righteous Gemstones. I'll just finish off with TV shows. Yellow Jackets, also engaged with for the first time. Really like that show. Might have been in my honorable mentions last year, or even in my top 15 for that first season. It's incredible. I say that because I really like season 2, but I can tell you it's not in my top 15. It's good, but it's not as good as that first season. That first season is like hot fire. I love it.
Yeah.
And A League of Their Own, which I bring up because it's a fantastic show and it's dead when it shouldn't be, which sucks. So there you go.
Rip.
Ben, you got one?
I got really one thing, and it's kind of recency bias because I just started playing it, but because as you guys know, I got sick with COVID again earlier in the month. It sucked, and I had some time on my hands, so I finally sat down and I was playing a game that online people would not. Well, they keep talking about it. It's been a huge thing for years. People have been wanting an HD remaster for the longest time, and I have up till now the quote unquote definitive edition for my Nintendo DS. I started playing Chrono Trigger, and I'm finally finding out what everyone online is saying on how
time travel. There's another banger right there, baby.
It is. That game is fantastic because
Chrono Trigger. I'm kidding.
Yeah, because even earlier this year, a game that's also going to be in my top 15, Sea of Stars, which is highly inspired by Chrono Trigger. It's the new game by Sabotage. It's a game that won Best Indie Game at the Game Awards this year. And I've been I fall in love playing that game. And when I was sick and I couldn't get to my PS5, I'm like, you know what? I brought Chrono Trigger in. I'm going to start playing it. And of course, I started playing it my last day of my isolation. I should have started playing that game a long time ago. That game is so much fun. It's fantastic. The combat style is different than just from like you're walking somewhere, random encounter, and all of a sudden you're in the traditional Final Fantasy. It's just like, oh, you touch a monster, you go into a battle, and it's still a turn-based battle, but it's more fast-paced and it's different. And
does it?
Yeah, I
have a question, Ben, because like now that I'm done with Baldur's Gate, it's on Xbox Game Pass, so I'm going to start it. Does it have like the active time battle system? Or is it more?
Yes.
Okay, then that's
It's
yeah, it's so good.
it's an ATB system, so it's not like a Final Fantasy X where every single character you have to what you call it. In Final Fantasy X, it's like traditional turn-based, where it's like one person has a turn, and
they go. You go, they go.
Essentially, or even in Sea Stars. Sea Stars doesn't do the active time battle, but still the turn order is, you don't know exactly what the turn order is. You're like, hey, it's your turn, but you get to pick which one of your characters gets to do an action. They do it, and then it's like maybe you get to go again, or you have to wait till the other guys go. It
sounds like almost like D&D Initiative, but in a turn, like brought into like a JRPG.
Kinda, yeah. But I mean, with Chrono Trigger, it's active time battle, so you could be waiting for the timer to go up so you can say, "Oh, I want to attack," but also you have to be like quick about it. You have to think on the fly. It's like, do I want to cast a spell? Do I want to wait a little longer for my comrade so I can do a special duo attack? Do I want to? It's like, oh, I gotta heal. I gotta use this round to heal my characters, or do I just want to just go balls to walls attacking? It's the ATB system. It's not like, it's obviously it's not an action system like Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy 16, but it still keeps you on your toes, and you have to be quick about it. You have to you can't just go, you can't just flick through the menu like you can see Stars. You have to be like, oh shit, I gotta go.
I gotta tell you,
if you stand still, you're just gonna keep getting pommeled by the enemies.
I'm at an age now where it is really hard for me to play just straight up turn based. And Baldur's Gate doesn't count because the amount of options you have is you're playing D&D, so it's the options are more there. But old school Final Fantasy, where it's just do I attack or do I pick an item? I did it. Now it's my enemy's turn. Do they attack? It's too slow for me now. So any game that has an active time battle system like Chrono Trigger or some of the newer Final Fantasy turn-based games, I love that. So I'm excited to hear Sea of Stars has that, because if it was going to be really, really slow, I probably won't finish it. But the fact that it has that great system, I'm more excited for it.
Actually, even way earlier, much earlier in the year, I think it was this year where I played. I finished the original Final Fantasy. I played it on my I played the PSP port on my PlayStation Vita, and that's heralded as one of the best versions of the original Final Fantasy, because it brings so many quality of life improvements. It doesn't have spell charges, it has MP. You can save anywhere. You don't have you can save anywhere you want. It's not only certain, just a lot of really good quality of life improvements. Whereas yes, it is still classic turn-based, but it's classic turn-based, but with let's make this a little bit better than other stuff. And then I go to something like Chrono Trigger, where the DS version, because they even says you could play the true classic version, or you can do the DS version where a bunch of the stats are on the lower screen and the top screen is just all action, all everything. It's not cluttered with a bunch of stuff. And still, the fact that gives you that option, I'm this is actually really cool and really ingenious. Now the more I play Chrono Trigger, the more I'm hey, this should have gotten that remake sooner. And I've only heard, and Chrono Cross I've heard is a good, but also Chrono Cross is a very divisive game.
It's not. It's not as good. It's just not as good.
The
rumor's been persistent for years, which means it's probably true. We are getting a remake / remaster in the next couple of years, because that's a huge game, so it'll take a long time to do that. But that keeps happening. The rumor, so there's where there's smoke, there's fire. So we might get it sooner rather than later, hopefully.
Hopefully, but at least right now, I have my DS version. And I am absolutely having a blast with it. And it's the more I play, it's yeah, I see it now. I see why people are freaking out and are praising this game to high heaven.
Love it. Love it.
All right, Ryan, you want to go with your next one?
Yeah, my last one, I'll make it quick, is Sea of Thieves. This is a live service pirate game. We've talked about a lot of live service stuff in the last couple months, and I haven't brought up Sea of Thieves because one, I forgot, because I didn't really get into it until really recently. But that's a game where it started kind of rocky, and then throughout the years they've added a lot of really good shit. Now it is a true incredible experience. It is one of my favorite multiplayer games to play. I play it every now and then, and you just meeting up with random people, and hopefully they're not going to antagonize you, because it is an open sea pirate PvP game. They just last week added which was really divisive for the community because it's a PvP game. Entirely separate mode where it's it's isolation. So like it's called Safer Sea, so you don't have to worry about players attacking you, and you experience all the story without having worried about getting murdered all the time. So that's been really great for me because there's a lot of story stuff they've added over the years. There's like, Jesus Christ, like 16 like campaigns. Like some of it's Pirates of the Caribbean, which I'm excited to get to, like The Legend of Monkey Island, where you're just having your own adventures, like, you know, searching for undersea pirate treasure and meeting up with cool people. So like when you're doing that in the regular game, like you'll be doing just a story quest and then someone will murder you. And like that can get really frustrating sometimes. So like I'm excited that there is a mode where I can just be a pirate on my own. And there's still, you know, like NPC pirates to fight, but like they're not as good as like real people who play this game every day for years. Sometimes you're in a fight you cannot win and you'll just get murdered and lose all your shit, and that sucks. So like they've added so much shit where like that is like my go-to game now. Like I played like 4 hours the other day with this random crew I met, and I had so much fun. And we all had mics, and like we were getting attacked by random people at all times. And like it was like, and there's the Pirates of the Caribbean 3 moment where Beckett is like slowly walking as shit's getting destroyed around him. And we were literally having that moment where there's 2 separate ships destroying us. And we're like, y'all, we're in Pirates 3 right now. And we're just like playing our music because you have instruments. We're playing our music as we're sinking. It's like, it's a Titanic moment. It's an incredible experience. I love it so much. There's so much cosmetics. There's, 5 years of cosmetics and ways to make your ship look cool, make you look cool. I am dressed entirely in Kraken stuff. So like, I'm all purple and have like cool eyeballs. And you can have like pet monkeys and parrots and dogs, and they'll follow you around. It's just like, it is the coolest vibe, and it is the most beautiful water in any video game I've ever seen, because it's a water game. It better have good water, right? I love playing that game. I'm so happy. I'm here.
Nice.
You said that was your last one?
Yeah.
Well, I had 2 more, so I'll just finish them up then.
Yeah.
Peter Capaldi, Doctor Who. I went through that for the first time this year. I watched the first season when it was airing, and I didn't care for it, so I stopped watching it. That second season's real good, though, and the third season's even better.
I'll say, because you're bringing it up, Peter Capaldi's Doctor Who is also online.
Yeah, he's great as the Doctor. I don't know if he's my favorite. He's damn up there. He's up there, man. Like there's no contest. It is. He's so good in the role. I don't really like the first season when he's just kind of mean Doctor, but when he switches that to kind of punk rock Doctor, who can be rude at times, much more fun. He plays the role very well. There's some episodes I'm not crazy about in his next 2 seasons. I don't really love. I was kind of tired of Jenna Coleman towards the end of her run. I still think the season is good, though. There's a lot of really good episodes in there. The way they tie it back to Fires of Pompeii was really cool. He's really great, and I'm really glad I finally went through it. He's awesome. Sparks, because you said that was on yours, you should also go ahead and talk about it.
I would just be expanding on the same things you said. Peter Capaldi's fantastic. I think that his last 2 seasons as the Doctor are the strongest things in Doctor Who since the end of Tennant's run as 10.
Yeah.
I don't think anything had hit as hard as those 2 seasons did, and I don't think anything has fully since. So really, really just amazing.
And then the last thing I'll talk about basically ruined my year, because like I was on track to watch a lot of things this year, a lot of really fun things that I'm sure are going to be on my top 15. But now my top 15 is going to be really difficult, because by the last half of the year, the only thing I was watching was Dimension 20. Right. Dimension 20 is incredible. I've seen 4 seasons now. Then these are 2.5 hour long episodes, 20 episodes, 2.5 hour long seasons, except for season 2 is a 6 episode thing that side quest with Matt Mercer and Mike Trapp, and that was a lot of fun. Some of the coolest and funniest things I've ever seen on television ever have been described to me in Dimension 20. Like, it is so good that obviously I'm not watching an animated moment, but the way it is described to me, the way it is edited, the way with the miniatures sometimes that they have with the during the battles, some of the coolest things I have ever seen on television. It is so much fun. It is so good. There is I have not stopped thinking about Fantasy High sophomore year. And the trailer for Fantasy High junior year just dropped, baby. I'm so excited. I can watch it live. There's a scene in Fantasy High sophomore year that I have not stopped thinking about, and it's about this pirate named Chungle Down Bim, who Lou Wilson, his character Fabian Seacaster has wronged Chungle Down Bim, and Chungle Down Bim, who's this little gnome pirate, comes up to him towards the end of the battle and goes, "I'm gonna shit in your mouth, boy! I'm gonna shit in your mouth!" And like he starts like yelling at him, and this battle is going really badly. And so Lou is like, "Can I jump down? Is there a rope that I can jump out of this thing?" And he rolls a nat 1. And Brennan goes, "That rope right in front of you will take you down safely." And so because he has to honor the nat 1, obviously he knows what has just happened. He leaps for the rope, goes tumbling down, flights, stories of building just tumbling down, like getting wrapped up, and it's a miracle he didn't die. And he's like tangled up in wires as the other cast members come up, and then they're just like, and he's like, it went so bad you can't really tell if Lou is crying or laughing at this point. And so like Allie is like, can we help you? He's like, there's this, and Lou's just like, there's this pirate named Chungle Down Bim, and he killed everyone except for Chungle Down Bim and old young Stevenson, and they're like, can Chungle Down Bim help us out? It's like, no, Chungle Down Bim, it's gonna sit in my mouth. It's gonna fit in my mouth. And like I have been thinking about that for months since I saw it. And like you can't tell if Lou is crying or laughing because he's just like
it's both.
He's just there. It is so much fun. It is so good. I'm so glad that I've kind of like been entered into this world of dimension of Dungeons and Dragons, like this whole other world of things. There's 20 seasons of Dimension 20 that I'm going to work through. It's consuming my life. I'm not watching anything else. If I'm watching TV, it is Dimension 20.
I truly love that you've entered the space, Brandon. Because like, yeah, Dimension 20, like you have Critical Role in Dimension 20, and like that has brought millions of people into D&D because like a lot of people think it's one thing, and it doesn't have to be, just a bunch of like sweaty people in a basement, like being serious. Like it can be really, really fun. And while also being dramatic, and like I wouldn't be shocked. It's Dimension 20 is not as big as Critical Role. They have literally millions of viewers every week.
Yeah.
But I would not be shocked in the next couple of years with how well Dropout's doing if we get some type of animated show for Dimension 20, specifically Fantasy High. Like because that is like their crown show, and there are so many spin-off shows that they've done, like whether one episode or one season of, and it's all great. And again, Brandon Lee Mulligan is like a treasure of a human being, and he makes it so, and he's so nice, and he explains everything, like because he knows new people are coming in, like they make it so easy to become a fan of D&D.
Yeah,
I've watched nothing but I'm so glad, like I want to play D&D, so like I watched Dimension 20, and Dimension 20 like creates like this idea that I'm here with these wonderful comedians playing these fantasy games. I'm currently watching their second campaign, which is the Unsleeping City, which was set in New York, and it's still incredibly funny. Because of Dimension 20, my top 15s are going to be very difficult because there was a moment of the year. There was pre-watching Dimension 20 where like I watched a lot of stuff, and then there was post Dimension 20 where I've only watched that. So like I'm loving it. I'm adoring it. If I had watched the most recent season, it would have been in my top 15 of the year. But because I started from the beginning, this is where it is. It's an incredible show. I love it to death.
I'm so happy to hear that. It is lovely.
All right, Sparks, you got more?
Yeah. I'll just pop off real quick and say that it is Barbarian.
Yeah,
that came out last year, and I definitely would have talked about last year, but I saw it this year, and it's great.
You're right. A good Justin Long horror movie.
I also saw Interstellar for the first time this year.
Oh, we all that from a birthday,
which is also a great film.
Yeah.
And finally, Kaiju number 8. which we started reading because of the podcast, and I have continued reading. So I really like Kaiju number 8. Very happy to have it.
Love it.
I really should finish that.
All right, friends. That was lovely. Let's move on to our Christmas wishes. And as is tradition, I have to tell you.
I'm so excited because I never remember
your wishes from last year.
I remember.
What happened? Oh boy.
I'm pretty sure.
For a doozy.
Oh, yeah. I remember some of them, I think. Yeah.
I remember.
Ryan,
oh, God.
Your wish last year was for a Bloodborne remaster.
Yeah, they hate me.
And Ryan, the year before you'd had Metal Gear Remaster, you removed it to put up news about the Metal Gear movie instead.
Yeah, and we got a Metal Gear announcement for a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3. So I fooled myself because I didn't think they would start at 3 or go back to it all because Konami hates Hideo Kojima.
You also got the remaster collections that came out.
Yes,
you would have had the wish there, but
they're remastering The Last of Us 2 instead of Bloodborne. That game came out 2.5 years ago. I want to blow my brains out, y'all.
Yeah. You also
did I have Fantastic Four?
No, you took that.
Damn it! I got Pedro. Sorry, Pedro.
You also wished for confirmation of the Warhammer show through further scheduling or casting announcements.
Nope, Henry Cavill said shit.
Yep. Then you wished for Nintendo announcing a true upgraded Switch.
That's next year, Ben.
Yeah, that's
we know for sure through rumors it's getting announced next year.
Also wished for the Metroid Prime trilogy remastered.
I got
the trilogy.
You got 1 of 3.
The trilogy.
You got 1 of 3.
I know. I got 1 of 3 though. I got 1 of 3.
And a teaser trailer for the Gundam movie.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get that at all.
Where Matthew Jordan Vogt Roberts?
I wished for an announcement about any kind of new Motherland Fort Salem content.
No.
And for Jim Carrey to be announced for Sonic 3. Neither of those things happened.
He might. Wait, is he? He's not in 3, right?
As far as we know. The last we heard is that he's retired, and it has not been clarified on if he's in 3 or if he isn't.
That makes me sad.
Brandon, Guardians of the Galaxy video game sequel.
Yeah, I wish that was true, my man.
Dragon Ball Super anime announcement.
Oh, I got Daima.
0.5.
And why has the dub for Digimon Reboot series not been released, and he wants it released? He wanted to know why it hadn't been, and he wanted it released.
Oh, I got it released.
You did.
I don't know why, though.
And for Ben to get a new job.
Yeah. Ben, you really let me down, buddy.
All right, friends. Those were the wishes from last year. That means it's time for new Christmas wishes.
Boy, I'm being more conservative on these ones, let me tell you.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay, so my first one is there is a Warhammer game called Warhammer 40k Darktide that is currently an Xbox exclusive. There was the previous game they made, Warhammer Vermintide, which is the fantasy version instead of sci-fi version. That was also an exclusive that after a year and a half came to all the platforms. So there is a good chance that this game will also come to the PlayStation platform because like I have Xbox Game Pass. It's on Xbox Game Pass, but I have it on PC and my PC can't run a next gen game like that. And that game that's a Left 4 Dead style game, but like on a gross apocalyptic world where you're trying to kill a bunch of chaos people. I play the game from time to time through its cloud service, and it's just not the same. Like it runs fine, but like if I just had that natively on my PS5, the game would look great. The PS5 controller is the best controller I've ever had because of the rumble and all that stuff. And then we could play together because that game's insane. It's really great. So it's been over a year now. So I'm hoping that it will get. There's no current signs of it happening, but like I'm just putting my hopes out there because I just want to play that game on PlayStation real bad. That's one of them.
Do you want to say your rest?
Sure, I guess. Dune 2 does well enough that we get the Dune Messiah announcement sometime next year. Dune 1 was a huge success critically, financially. Dune 2, I think people are really popping off for that third trailer. I think it's going to do really well. Denis Villeneuve, the director, said himself, like, I would love to do the trilogy. So like I'm praying like that it just gets announced and we'll see it in 3 to 4 or 5 years because he's going to work on another movie after Dune 2.
Right.
But like I have a good feeling that we will get the trilogy at least announced. That's me.
Is that it?
That's me. I got 2.
All right. Ben, wishes.
I don't know if I should wish for anything because nothing I wish for comes true.
It's same, bro. It's okay.
Yeah, I guess that's what they're called, wishes. I'm gonna recycle my wish for a teaser for Gundam for the Netflix Gundam movie. That'd be nice. And also maybe because I'm going to Japan, I'll see the statue in Yokohama. I could like manifest it in some way, shape, or form.
They haven't announced anything yet, so they better start announcing something soon for it.
Yeah, they better start doing some shit soon. All we got is that one image, and that's it. Other than that, I guess this is a more personal one, because I feel like I just need a win, and I'm going to be working my ass off to try and make sure it's a damn good thing to put up. I just want to be selected for the next round of boss fight, like the boss fight books, because their submissions window isn't open yet. It normally opens. It's going to open up sometime next year, and there's a game for a book I want to write about, and I think the idea of how I want to go about it is pretty interesting. And it doesn't have to be published this next year. I just want it to get selected. To me, that's just like, I just want a win, because a lot of stuff happened this year. A lot of it good, a lot of it not so good. And I'm just like, I just need a win. I just needed like a big like oomph. And other than that, no, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
That's all I'm really wishing for next year.
Brandon.
All right. Every single time I wish for personal stuff, it goes horribly wrong.
Yeah.
I wish for more time. We got the pandemic. I wish for Ben to get a new job. No. So I'm not doing that this year. I'm not doing that this year. Actually, you know what? Keep the Ben gets a new job just for, just make him feel good. Okay. I got a few. And one I might not use. I need your advice on it, Sparks and Ryan. But
okay.
So first I'll say Spirited and Klaus on Blu-ray. Spirited, the Apple TV Plus original movie with Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell, and Klaus, the animated Netflix film. Those two would kill on the physical market if Netflix and Apple would put them out. And I want them.
I agree with that, especially about Klaus. Like I'm mad about it. Like I know you saw my tweets this week because Trial by Content was like, "What's the best holiday movie?" And I'm like, I am angry that Klaus is not even considered on any of these lists. Because just like lack of knowledge, I think, more than anything. And I'm like, this is so. I think Klaus is one of the best holiday movies ever. I can't think of many things that I think really cusp over it.
It is one of the negatives of it's Netflix, right? It was on Netflix.
Yeah,
it's one of the negatives of just like 500 things come out every day on Netflix. Like even the best stuff gets drowned out after a while. Like that's why like physical media is important in that aspect.
Physical media is very important. We've learned this year. This year has been a big wake-up call that physical media is very important in this era of streaming. As we're coming, it's kind of towards the end of streaming era. Not saying that streaming is going away, but like we're seeing a shift happen within streaming that is detrimental to the preservation of film and television. And physical media is very important for that. Hopefully, Apple TV Plus at least knows this and is able to put Spirited on Blu-ray. So I'm going to say, if I get one of them, I get it. I get the wish.
I think the Apple one is more likely. Like Klaus would be great, but like I think it's now we're so far away from that movie. Like I don't think anyone at Netflix cares enough about that movie.
Yeah, I agree. But it should be in people's Christmas rotations. Like it should be. It's that good.
It made me a believer. Yeah.
Okay. So that. I said Klaus because like I almost said the Dan Moore and Grant Morrison reuniting for a new book, but then I read that Grant Morrison is retired, so like not happening. So I want movement. That could be anything on Star Trek 4. Just anything. You get a new director, you get a writer. Maybe the cast says, "Hey, we're looking at maybe a script right now." Something.
They're all always saying like, "Yeah, I'll do it. Just let me know." Like they're all ready for it. So yeah, like, man, that's so interesting. I wonder. I don't even like. I would love for it. Like I don't even know if it's a yes or no answer. Like I'm actually like I have no idea if that's even in the cards. Like that's crazy.
The most recent thing we heard is that it's not dead. After Matt Shackman left, it wasn't dead. It's still there. Paramount's still interested.
That's right. So Shackman, So I'm
like, okay, well, if it's not dead, I want to see some movement happen. And now I got a big Godzilla wish. I want you to announce sequels. I want GXK to do well enough to warrant a sequel. I want Monarch Season 2 announced. I don't want it out. I want it announced.
Yeah.
And Skull Island Season 2 announced. I'm not going to be bold enough and say I want it out. I want it announced. And I want a sequel announcement for Godzilla -1.
I think
that's impending. I believe that's impending.
I think -1 will be a lock. I'm unsure about the. Well, I mean, I'm sure Godzilla Kong will get a sequel. It's because like the last one. I don't remember
depends on how it does.
How did G versus GVK do?
It's really hard to judge because we were coming out of the pandemic.
Oh, that's true.
So many people did it at home.
Gotcha.
But like those streaming numbers were really impressive, and then people saw it in theaters, and so like that created enough. But like this will bank on box office, and it could go either way.
Gotcha. Okay.
So like Godzilla -1, I think I think the Godzilla -1 sequel is happening. But I want to see the MonsterVerse continue. And I would hate, especially for Skull Island, to be buried in that, because I think it is a good entry in the MonsterVerse that people should watch. And I want Netflix to give it a second season. Now this is my question for you guys. As avid Fortnite players, now I cannot recall, but the Fortnite Rock Band kind of thing. That's because they bought the company that made Rock Band, right?
I don't know if Epic owns Harmonix, but it is a partnership for sure. Like Harmonix developed that game, yeah.
Right. So Epic owns the publisher for KO City.
Yeah.
Is it likely, if I were to say Fortnite gets a KO City mod like Rock Band or Lego, would that be possible?
No.
It's I want, like, just for you, Brandon, like I want it to be true. That game did not do any numbers for Epic.
I don't even think it's really about that. Epic bought the game, but they didn't buy the studio, which means the mechanics of how it plays are with the studio.
I see.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
So
see, I thought they bought the studio.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I would have to go and look, but I'm fairly certain that they did not.
Okay.
Rocket League and Rock Band are both like huge. Rocket League is like we never talk about it, but that is like one of the biggest games in the world. We just don't talk about it.
That being said, like never say never. They might see a value in like, and if they do own the studio, they might see a value in including some of the movement mechanics to do something like that.
Yeah.
It's possible, but I feel like it probably already would have come up.
Sure. Then I won't put that one in there. I'll just leave it. I'll leave the ones I got.
You'll leave it in your heart.
Yeah.
I'll leave it in my heart.
Okay.
Cool.
Quite a list, Brandon. I'll start with that. Like,
I think this year, all feasible.
Yeah. If you only take Spirited on the Blu-ray, then yeah.
Yeah.
I'll start with one that I already had on there, which is the same as yours, which is Monarch Legacy of Monsters second season.
I got a good feeling about that one.
I'm going to keep Jim Carrey for Sonic 3. We're going to find out one way or another in this coming year, and I'm hoping that he will return.
Yeah.
Sequel Dungeons and Dragons movie announced.
Hell yeah.
And this is a big one. This is the unlikely one. A different Avengers movie created before the Secret Wars Kang Dynasty.
Oh, like an announcement?
Like they just are pushing that shit back because they realize they need more space, more time for all these characters and properties. Do a smaller scale, more Ultron-esque Avengers film, even if it is whatever the Young Avengers thing is going to be, whatever Kamala and Kate are doing, even if it's not focusing on our entire Avengers team, but only a portion of it, whatever. Do a smaller scale team up movie.
I have a question. Because something like Captain America Civil War is basically an Avengers movie. What if Shang-Chi 2 is like a team up of like 4 or 5 heroes? Would you count that, or do you need it to be Avengers?
Here's what it is. It doesn't need to be, the movie does not need to be called Avengers.
Okay.
I need to see the Avengers team.
Yes. Okay.
working together, even if it's not the full team.
Okay, I just want to know.
need to see those major players interacting with each other before we go to the next Infinity War Endgame situation.
Yes.
That is Kang Dynasty, unless it changes and it's not Kang Dynasty anymore, and Secret Wars or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I need to know this Avengers team.
I just wanted to make sure
see them come together in a different movie before the big 2-part or whatever they're doing.
Making sure like it doesn't have to be an Avengers title. Just like I need my homies together.
I don't care where it happens.
Got it.
I need to see the Avengers.
I agree. No, I am 100% in agreement.
I agree wholeheartedly.
I want to add, unless you have any more to expound on that one.
No.
I actually want to add one more, because it's the thing that I'm the most worried about. And it's not even that like I'm worried that the comics will be good. It's that like the Krakoa era is ending soon, which is like the best the X-Men has been in 20 years since Grant Morrison wrote them 20 years ago. And we've gotten a lot of hints that like it is going like super back to basics. And I'm fine with it going back to basics. I don't want them to remove the insane amount of character progression that has happened with multiple characters like Storm, who is literally the queen of the universe. I don't want that to be taken back where she's just teaching history at a school again. If there's some foundation of Krakoa still being alive in the next era, I'll be happy. But like some of the early teases we're getting is like real, like just like, hey man, you remember X-Men 90s? And I'm really scared about that. Again, the books could be great, but I just like, we've progressed. Like, I don't want this to be a Peter Parker situation where like you regress him back to like 25 years ago. That's what I'm really worried about. So if you can keep some aspect of the growth this entire like nation of people has experienced, then I will be happy. I just don't want a full ass like, what was Krakoa? So like, which I am worried about that. There is some worried about that with the movies and stuff coming out soon. So like, that's my new one.
Great.
All right.
Okay. Those are the Christmas wishes. That's it.
Love it.
Yeah. We usually would add in a little bit of like, what are you looking forward to? That kind of thing. I think we ran pretty long. We'll table that. You guys will probably have a hype episode for the year, and you can take on some of that stuff there.
I'll tell you what, the only one that I really was like going to be jonesing for is Andor, and that's 2025. So I'm like, never mind.
Yeah, a lot of things are television and film-wise are also up in the air because of the strikes.
Also this year, we're doing the top 15 earlier than we would have normally, and also on its own special. We're not going to be putting it in an episode. So we can also do something like that in that episode, should there be time. But as Spark said, there will most likely be a hype episode
I love
next year. So, yeah. All right, guys. That'll do it.
That will do it. That's a holiday special, y'all.
I'll do it.
Guys. Happy holidays, happy Christmas. This is coming out Christmas Eve. I hope you guys had a good Christmas. I hope you guys are going to have a good Christmas. Hope you guys, my co-host on the screen, have a good Christmas.
What I will say is like not necessarily what are we looking forward to in the future year, but I will say look forward to an entire wrap up on all the Scott Pilgrims, all the Scott Pilgrim franchise. We're doing all that stuff. Cinephiles. We're going to try and play that game. Books. We're doing it. Check it out. And we got a couple of other cinephiles and animation stations and basement arcades that we're going to be throwing in the mix. Some things are going to be recorded before I have to pull back and then release a little later because it's easier to get it done in recording and then deal with it in post.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we still have Aquaman as a big release this year. We'll most likely do Aquaman before the end of the year. So certainly, like at the time of this recording, we haven't done Aquaman, but at the time of this release, Aquaman is out. So who knows if we've done that yet? So so there's things to look forward to before the end of the year. This is not the last time you'll see us before the end of the year, and of course, you'll see us next year. But we hope you guys have a good Christmas. Hope you guys had a good Hanukkah. We hope you guys have a good New Year's. Thank you guys for joining us on this journey. For this past couple of years has been wild. This year has been another wild year for our small begrudging podcast, but we're so grateful for the fans that we do have, for the people who do watch our videos and listen to our podcast episodes. Thank you so much, guys. We hope you guys have a happy holidays and you guys get lots of stuff, lots of exciting stuff from your friends and family. So with that said, I'll just wrap up the episode. I already said what shows we have. We got a lot of shows. We got a lot of episodes of all those shows. Go check them out if you missed anything. You can check them out on our website, fakenerdpodcast.com, which is updated as frequently as I can. That's linked below, as well as our TeePublic and our Patreon. Hey, if you still have an idea for a gift, it's Christmas Eve, and you need a gift. Well, the TeePublic shipping is probably not going to make it there in time, but you could conceivably do it. Buy someone a gift on TeePublic if you'd like a Fake Nerd Podcast shirt. Hey, why not? So there you go. It's linked below as well as on our website, fakenerdpodcast.com. Follow us on all the socials, Fake Nerd Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, fakenerdguys@gmail.com. If you want to send us like a Christmas card, great to do that. Send us a digital one. Be great. Wonderful. I've been toying with the idea of doing that on Patreon if we ever get the Patreon working. But I have no idea what to do with that Patreon anymore.
We should just.
I mean, it's there if anyone wants it. It's costing us nothing to have it. So like,
Well, that's good.
So like, I don't. It's really not hurting anybody. It's also not helping anybody, but it's there if anyone wants it. So yeah, there you go. You can find me at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. I also write for AtomicGeekdom.com infrequently, but I do. Ben, where can people find you? Everywhere. Where can people find you?
Well, they can find me at BenMac27 on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Threads. You could also find me writing for Fusion Gaming Magazine, Old School Gamer Magazine, GoNintendo.com, and playing Mary Frankenstein in D & Dark.
Sparks.
You can find me becoming a father at Sparks Witty on Instagram and Twitter, SPARKZ Witty.
Guys, I don't mean to like interrupt, but like we are weeks away. It's weeks away.
But in my head, it's like if it's at the due date that it's set at and not earlier, it's like Monarch will end and I will have a baby.
Baby.
And Ryan.
You could find me happy to be with my homies on the holidays at DJ Tony Snark all over the internet.
All right, guys. Subscribe on your podcatcher of choice, rate and review wherever you get us. We greatly appreciate it. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Until next time you see us, guys, happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays.